All right, so at this point, I'm just going to ask you like your favorite game. We'll get into that.
Okay.
All right. So, Mario, what's your favorite game of all time?
Breath of the Wild.
Get out. All right, so what's your favorite game?
Used to be Zelda 2 until Breath of the Wild came out.
No, just no. No.
Hey, welcome to the better half.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
Wait.
No, I'm sorry. No, we're just going to talk about just your favorite game. So,
Oh, okay.
All right. So, all right, here we go.
Okay.
So, Frank, what's your favorite game?
Oh, that's easy. Breath of the Wild.
All right, so I'm going to ask you your favorite game, and I know it's Super Metroid, so I'm just going to go through the motions here. All right, so Rich, what's your favorite game of all time?
Actually, I've just recently played Breath of the Wild, and I beat it, and it's... You okay?
Sixth person. All right, look, what we're going to do...
Hey. Aren't you going to ask me my favorite game?
Hey everyone, welcome back to this extra large episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, number 300. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
And a whole lot of other people are here.
A lot of other people here, but I'm here.
You are here.
I'm here.
Let's address that elephant in the room.
Poke him first, make sure he's actually here.
Don't touch me.
Touch and die. No, Ant, welcome back to the East Coast.
Thank you. No, I am officially here, like staying here.
Like this is like legit at this
like
point.
this is legit here. Yes,
Yeah.
there no more Zoom. Well, we'll still do Zoom.
Yeah,
but because we're not driving to each other all the time.
No, not at all.
Or let me
Maybe
rephrase
once
that.
a
I'm not driving to you.
Maybe once a month. I'll come out to you.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Brooklyn. I am officially back in Brooklyn.
There you go.
So I'm back on the East Coast. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Good to be
Especially
here.
for 300. So
300. Very special. I told you things were going to change.
Well, you left, and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I we were trying things out. It didn't work with anybody.
No, it absolutely didn't, and especially
Hack.
Hack. Yeah, I know. Why do you think I
Hey,
yanked?
what's up?
You getting all this?
I can't leave. I am stuck here.
He's literally stuck in between. I can get up whenever I want because there's this Miss Pac-Man machine, and I know my high score is still on it, but I need to beat my high score.
Your high score is still on there.
Yes.
But in the meantime, let's go around the horn here. So
Yeah.
we do have some guests. First of all, Mario, welcome back.
Thank you. What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
going on?
Again, 300 here.
300.
Rich.
We're
I think
300 years old.
Second time in person. I think
unreal.
our first guest. In-person guest, maybe? Remember when we did it from Barcade?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, no, I think
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
you-
one of the first
Yeah,
guests.
I believe
was there as well.
you and Trish. Yes,
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
And
our
Frankie
first.
was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really cool.
And we'll have some other people who will be joining in at different intervals.
At different points, yeah. That we wanted to. It was since it was going to be our 300th episode, we wanted to do something really big with it, and we thought what could be bigger than having almost everybody we found on the show before back in person on the show
so unoriginal.
to have a nice discussion. What
So unoriginal.
is it unoriginal?
I think so.
Okay,
It is.
all right.
But be
Well,
that
maybe
as it
it
may.
shouldn't have been your idea.
It's going to be a fun time. And basically, we're just going to really talk about, after 300 episodes, we've talked about so much different topics, still talk about so many different things, but we want to kind of get to the root of why we're here, why people listen, why people watch, and why we're still playing these games is just our love, our passion. And for such a number of people that have been on the show and will be on this week's episode, all of us kind of have like our special go-to or like our favorite system, our favorite game. And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about and share everyone else's ideas and memories of these systems, of these games. And basically it's kind of just going to be kind of open-ended and just going to have a good time discussion.
Yeah, and also like we always talk about our favorite games and our favorite systems, so it's good to actually have other people just talking about theirs.
Especially since we're always considered a heavy Nintendo podcast.
We are very heavy Nintendo, and that's your fault.
I had Nintendo growing up. What can I tell you? My parents.
So
were
did
born.
I.
So did I.
I think when all of us.
At the end of the day, it was in the 1980s and the 90s. It was the dominant system. There's no getting around that. It brought back from the crash.
It did.
Of the early 80s. I mean, after Atari and everything, Nintendo was huge from 85 to like 95, 96.
To now, basically. Yeah.
Did anybody-
Until Sony and Microsoft came into the picture, I would
what?
say, yeah,
Okay.
it had a little bit of competition.
Did anybody have the Master System here? Like when it came out?
A little after.
Okay.
I was a Master System guy, but again, my brother had the Nintendo. It was the dominant. We were playing 90% of the time. We were playing Nintendo, and every now and then I'd go into my parents' room where the Master System was and throw something on.
I remember Sean had the Master System.
Oh yeah, Sean did have the Master
Yeah.
System. I remember that.
He was the only one I knew who had it.
I knew one other person around the corner from me who had the Master System, but going to Sean's house to play it, that's what I remember the most too.
Yeah.
And since we're talking Master System and Mario, since
Let's
you
do it.
actually had one, why
Yeah.
don't we jump into that?
All right. So I must have gotten the Master probably around 88, I would think, or 87. So I was like 9, almost 10 years old. I liked it, and but like I said, for all intents and purposes, the Master System was kind of like the side thing. The Atari we kind of kept in the basement, and the basement was scary back then.
Wood
my
paneling.
brother always had the friends over, and we'd always gravitate back to the Nintendo. But I'll say this: the games that were good on the Master System, I'd put them up with any of Nintendo's best any
grab
day
it.
of the week. And the games that they had in common, be honest, most of the time I thought the Master System version was better, but I think a lot of things that went wrong with the Master System. One, they didn't know how to market the thing. Two, they couldn't get the other licensees on board because Nintendo had those like real restrictions. And they kind of, the games that you did see, like some of the, I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like very toy-like. It didn't feel like Nintendo, what they did, and I thought they did really well, is when they translated an arcade game, they made it a different experience to take advantage of what the system could do, that you didn't have to put quarters in, and you could have like an adventure. Sega was kind of like level 1, like if you look at Alex Kidd Miracle World, it was like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, but then you look at Ninja Gaiden or something, you had little sequences in between. If you look at Strider on the Nintendo, like it was kind of like you had to go back to stages, and you had to get different items and stuff. Like they kind of made it, they extended the play value. But again, for the Master System, if you look at Rampage,
You've always talked
it's
about Rampage.
superior
You
on
always
the
mention
Master
it,
System
yeah.
by a mile. If you look at Ghostbusters, which is a terrible
Another
game
one.
to begin with,
Yep.
it's actually playable on the Master System. Like, far and wide, I'm not even an RPG player, but my favorite game on the Master System, since we got to get to that, was Phantasy Star. I actually
yes.
made little. I had grid paper, and I actually made maps of the 3D dungeons when I was like
Wow.
young.
Hardcore. That's
You know?
hardcore.
So.
Don't worry, we're not judging.
Yeah. And I actually, that was one of 2 RPGs in my life that I actually finished. So,
That's awesome. What was the second one? Gotta ask.
Final Fantasy VII.
Of course.
Of course.
The one everybody finished.
I never
Yeah.
finished it. Never
Yeah.
really
Never,
played it.
I
never
never
played it.
I never played it either.
Yeah.
I own it, but I never played it.
Well, that's
Dragon
okay.
Warrior.
Did I get Dragon
we
Warrior?
know
We'll talk
you're
about
not
that in a
perfect.
little bit.
The only other thing I can think of is, if they had something that was really good, I would say was competitive with anything Nintendo put out. So like baseball games. Reggie Jackson Baseball is one of the best 8-bit baseball games I've ever played. I'd put it up against Bases Loaded. I'd put it up
I was about to
against
say,
RBI.
Bases Loaded is the one I remember.
Yeah, Bases Loaded was really good. RBI Baseball was really good.
But is it better than Nintendo Baseball?
Oh.
I mean,
Nothing-
that's
Black
a
Box
level.
Baseball?
That's
Yeah.
Black Box Baseball.
We're talking on. That's a whole
That's-
other
that's
echelon. That's a dimension that we can't even.
I mean,
Touch.
it's hard to top that one.
But LGN, for all the hate they get, they put out a good baseball game. I forgot the name of it though.
Baseball All Stars, was that them?
No, I think
I
it
don't
might have just
remember.
been
I know
Major
of
League
what you're
Baseball.
talking
It
about,
might-
but I don't remember.
Well, you lost me when you said LJN made a good game. 'Cause
I know.
that's just not possible.
The first
pretty sure I
NES
heard
game
Anthony's
I beat was
brain
Jaws.
click.
Jaws.
Yep, and I think the second one was the Karate Kid.
Oh, jeez.
I love Jaws.
I enjoyed the Karate Kid game, and I enjoyed the Jaws game.
I don't think
I just remember jumping over the pendulum.
Yes. Yeah, that was
I-
which you weren't supposed to. You're supposed to dodge it.
Really?
Yeah, you're supposed to dodge it, not jump over it.
Oops.
I think when you're younger and your reflexes are a little different, you have a different mindset to these games. So like, being 9 or 10 years old, whatever I was, I liked Jaws. If I try to play it now, it's like,
Grind.
okay.
Oh no, I'll
Yeah.
still play it now and I'll beat it just for the fun of it.
But
Oh,
it's
I don't know why I like that game.
Oh,
It's
no,
kind of
no,
like
no.
my love for bad movies. It's so bad it comes around
fine.
to
You
be
can
good.
you just
No.
have to.
Some of these games are like
No. I'm willing to admit that a game is bad, but I still like it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's,
Yeah.
that's okay.
That's all.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's it's not so bad. It's good. It's so bad. It's bad, but I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I like it anyway.
It's like Jaws is the room of the NES
I don't
games.
I don't know about that.
I, don't know,
I honestly
I'm gonna
think
disagree with
like,
that one.
Oh,
but-
okay. Never mind.
and I argue that for ET also. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is the worst game on Atari. I think it's 100 times worse than ET.
Really?
I think ET, if you actually read the instructions, it's not.
Well, actually,
It's
if
not that bad.
if you read the instructions to the ET game, then you would have beaten it in 60 seconds, like most people did.
I did beat
If
that
you know how to
game.
play that game, it takes 1 minute.
I
to
was like
beat.
5
So
years
wait,
old. I
you
beat the
actually
game. Yep.
read instructions?
You don't?
Well, when I was learning to read, I
Listen,
I don't
you
think I've
put
Well,
ever
then again, if we
the game on, and you just jump in, and that's it.
if we all read instructions, we would have known that the
Duck Hunt.
with Duck Hunt that the second controller controls the
The
ducks,
ducks.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, what
Which
are
we
gonna do?
didn't.
So, like, when you said that your brother had Nintendo, you had like was your go-to the Master System? Like, if you had to choose between the two back then.
Listen, back then, I would still go with the NES.
Okay, all right.
For the other reasons I mentioned. But like I said, when Sega put something good out on that Master System, it was competitive any day. And had they had licenses, had they had, if you had seen Castlevania on the Master System or something, or Mega
been
Man or
wild.
something like that, you know what I mean? It would have been competitive. But the Nintendo brought the gaming market back from the dead. They had a lockdown. They knew exactly what they were doing. I give them 100,000 points credit for that. And the Master System, like I said, it had a little niche thing, and it definitely was something of personal affection for me, because when my brother would get stingy with his friends and I wasn't allowed to play Nintendo with them, I'd go and play Double Dragon on the Master System.
There you go.
There you go.
Monopoly was also very good on the Master.
I know you keep telling me to pick that up. Yeah, I got it one day. All right, well there you go. Some Master System love. Yeah, I knew no one growing up with a Master System. I
only knew one other person.
the only like different system I knew that someone owned was a friend of mine had a TurboGrafx. Like that was it. Everyone knows at least one person with a TurboGrafx.
I did not know anybody with a turbo.
Most people here will know someone
Yep.
growing up who had a TurboGrafx.
I
And
think the furthest out with that would have been the Commodore 64. But even still,
Yeah,
with that,
But
Well,
I
I
had that. I had a Commodore.
I think
You had a
Commodore 64s were
Commodore?
more
Oh, yeah.
better common or more common.
That's
We'll talk
what I
about
mean.
that later.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But like even still, like if you're talking about Nintendo, it's like once again you're talking about that time period. Most people, like we said, are going to talk about Nintendo or Sega, and then it's kind of like Commodore 64. So
The one person I knew who had a Commodore, had an Amiga, had a 3DO, had a Neo Geo, had a Dragon's Lair cabinet in his house.
wow,
Like, both his older brothers were significantly older, so they had jobs. They made a lot of money. I think his father, who was not in the house, was some sort of politician in the Dominican Republic. So I think they were.
All right.
I think he was just getting everything.
wanna-
In this guy had everything.
You want to break any news?
No. Just
I
yeah.
have a feeling you should just leave it right there.
Well, thank you. That's Master System, very cool. Master System, I think a lot of us got used to, at least more recently. Like I got the adapters for the Genesis and everything like that. Rich, with you, and you're more, because when I got introduced to you, not as much as a system, but as much as a series, always stands out with you. And I remember when I first met you, I remember you gave me and Anthony USB thumb drives with a hack game on there, which I could not play at the time just because I didn't have the right system to use it on. But whenever I think of Metroid, I think of you, Mr. Metroid. And what got you into Metroid? Like, what was your love?
you know what's funny is actually I hated the original Metroid.
Really?
Like, I hated I remember playing that when I was younger. I was like, where the hell am I going? What the hell am I doing? I can't find anything.
Because there's no mapping system.
No, I felt the same way.
That's why I refuse to play it to this day.
Justin Bailey, I was like, okay, there we go. Good. I can go in and go. I can,
Dunsky.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. No, actually, it wasn't until because I didn't actually own a Super Nintendo until actually I think I was graduating high school was when I finally got one.
That was late in the game.
Yeah. And but before then, somebody had lent me their Super Nintendo, and they had Super Metroid, and I remember playing that game, and just being like, "What is this? This is phenomenal! Like, this is absolutely amazing." And I think from that point forward, I was hooked on that series. I just remember at one point, I think you got stuck on that too, because you beat it like last year or something like that.
Yes, I had after Metroid Dread, I went on my Metroid run.
Yeah,
And I did the same thing.
Yeah, I got through Dread, I got through Super Metroid, Zero Mission.
Castlevania 2?
No.
He still owes this podcast a run through of Castlevania 2.
Just throwing that out there.
I'll find one online. And then I got stuck at Fusion because I started playing Fusion again, and then I got stuck on a boss, and then I just stopped. And then I moved on to something else. But I was going for. In fact, I even bought Other M to get ready to play that. Oh, I was
Wow.
in.
Why?
Yes, I was in to play. I
Wait,
still
you
have-
actually paid money for that
I
thing?
did. I think I bought it digitally as well. So
Somebody
I
should have
have
paid you for that
I
thing.
have it forever.
Oh,
Wow.
Is it solely on the gameplay, or have you gotten yourself like versed in the mythology of the series? I don't know anything about.
Well, are you into
Story.
the? I mean, I kind of just enjoy the gameplay. I don't really.
I mean,
I
I
don't
did
deep
too.
dive into the mythology.
I enjoy the
of anything.
gameplay, and I play the game.
Yeah.
But like outside of the story that's there, that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, some of these games, I mean, they have such backstories. You know,
I
get
can't deal with
involved
the
in, like, the way they
backstories,
do.
yeah.
I like the
like they did
backstories.
with why not, right? Like
Yeah.
if you like it, you know.
Well, going with something kind of related, going back to Other M for
Mm-hmm.
a minute. In Other M, Samus actually speaks in that. And
Yes.
she
Yes, she
sounds
does.
horrible. She
Yeah.
sounds like an obnoxious little girl. And then in Dread, when she talks, and she talks in that alien language, I
Oh,
was
she does talk. I forgot
so
about that. Yeah,
happy
yeah, yeah.
when I heard that. I was like, yes, thank you. And even going with your other favorite game, Breath of the Wild, I wish they would have
One
spoken.
of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, I'm I converted. I played it.
I
beat
told
it.
you.
And
Good night, folks. Enjoy. See you at 301.
but no, I mean, like, I wish, like, in a game like that, I wish they would have also done like an alien type of language where it's not in English, it's not in Japanese, it's like some other type of language.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
Well,
mean for
they,
Link?
Well, they
Yeah.
had.
Well,
Oh,
Link just
okay.
doesn't talk though.
Yeah,
That's-
Link-
Well, not Zelda.
Okay,
the
okay,
Zelda
no,
series,
I
yeah.
got you.
Right.
Okay, I got
no, totally get that. But I think what they did with Breath of the Wild worked really well, though. I mean, because the other beings had language, like the Zora had their
Yes.
own language that you saw on the walls and stuff like that. So I think they did a good job with that. And Link was never meant to have a voice
No.
because he's supposed to be representative of us, of the player. That's why he's called Link.
Yeah.
It's the link between the player and the game.
Yep.
That's as far as my mythology goes.
That's as far as Larry goes. If he reads any further into it, his head will explode.
Yeah.
But
I'm aware of that. Well,
Yeah, but Rich, circling back though, I know Metroid is definitely one of your favorites. Is it the favorite? Because what I always remember when we were growing up was you playing Mega Man all the time.
Oh, you were big into Mega Man?
Oh, I was huge Mega
Oh,
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, this I was
Huge
unaware
Mega
of.
Man.
Okay.
Actually, what was it? Probably around 2009. I think I ran through everything up to 8.
Oh wow.
Like,
Okay.
Because
Wow.
I think that's when 9 was coming out.
Yeah.
I think you prepped yourself.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were prepping yourself.
The
for
Wii's
that.
coming out alone.
And
Wii,
it's
yeah.
funny you mentioned that because I just for the Switch, I just bought the Mega Man Legacy Collection
Okay,
for the
nice.
Volume 1 and Volume 2, especially because it's got 9 and 10 on it.
Yep.
you remember what your entry game was into that series? Was it 2?
2. It was 2.
feel like everyone was
Most
two.
people was
Everyone
2.
was 2. 2 was
And
awesome.
then
No,
I
I
went
remember-
back and I beat 1.
Yeah.
1 was tougher though, right?
But I could actually there was that cheat where if you paused it with
With the second
electric
controller
beam-
or something?
yeah,
Oh,
and
no, I
you-
know what you're talking about. Yeah,
You
yeah,
kept
yeah.
pausing it, and
Yes.
the beam would go through whatever. It just
Yep.
destroyed the boss.
Now, if you played those stages in a certain order and got a certain weapon for the next boss, like
Yep.
you
Yep.
could usually do it pretty good.
Well, yeah, it was.
That's what
it's
I
rock,
remember
paper,
about
scissors.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I still can't figure out. Except for like Heat Man and Fireman. I mean, Heat Man and Ice Man. If
Yeah,
there's
like
an-
those are the easy
If there's a
ones.
fire and an ice level, I can tell
Easy.
that from. But
Yeah.
thereafter,
Yeah.
I don't know what the rock paper scissors.
So
is.
wait, just circling back from one
Yeah.
quick second though, was I the only one who played Mega Man 1 first?
I think
probably
so.
played it, but I didn't get into
Well,
it.
no, that's what I mean. Like I would rent it from the video.
I'd
store.
rented it.
I'd rent it
Yeah.
from the video store all the time.
I remember.
And,
I remember
yeah.
playing it. I feel like I remember more Mega Man 2 than Mega Man 1.
Well, that's okay. Maybe I owned Mega Man 2. I did not own Mega Man 1, but
Mm-hmm.
I played Mega Man 1 first.
Yeah, I probably rented it. That was definitely a rent. That's something we should talk about.
and
rentals.
by the way, back in the day, it was
Bionic Commando.
like after Mega Man 3 came out, like when it got to 4, 5, and 6, I felt like they got way too hard. And at that
Oh,
point, I started
ridiculous.
They were
Yeah.
trying to mess
You
with
know,
it.
the Mega Man 2 in Japan doesn't have different, like, their regular mode is difficult mode.
Yeah.
They gave us, as usual, they gave us the option for a normal mode or a difficult mode.
Yep.
But over there, they don't care. They just run with it. It's pretty cool. I was actually after Metroid, when I got stuck on that game in Fusion, I went to Mega Man and I started going through because I got the Wily Wars on Genesis.
Yep.
So I played
Right.
those 3, great game, and then got through the Wily Tower afterwards. Then I'm like, all right, let me try 4 and on. Now, granted, I was using the Legacy because
Yep.
at this point, at this stage of my life, I accept the rewind feature, and that is
Yep.
fine by me. So I started plowing through them. I think I got up to 5. I got a Cossack. I think was the first time with 5, right? So I got to finish up that one. But it's pretty cool how I didn't realize you were big on Mega Man as well.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, going back to with the rewind feature,
Yep.
just beat the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the Cowabunga collection with the rewind feature.
Oh, it's about time.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching up to me.
You actually beat that back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
I never.
yeah.
How?
I don't know.
It's one of those things.
You know
yeah.
what? It might have been Game Genie related or not. I don't know. But I remember beating it. I definitely remember beating it. And I've beaten it more than once.
They were like, literally, I'm sitting there going, there's no way to do this. Absolutely zero.
No, there was. I did.
I was watching. There's a channel that breaks down the coding of a game on YouTube for certain games, and they were doing Ninja Turtles on how they, and it breaks it down to
How
like
they made it
frames per
impossible.
sec, and how the animation of a sword would follow, and it was really cool. They broke down the dam level of Ninja
Person,
Turtles
please?
on how like there was certain delays on purpose, and like the hitbox area was. When I get the name of the channel, I'll send you. But it was really
yeah,
really
definitely send that.
fascinating. Yeah, it was really cool.
So Rich, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Favorite console?
I'm going to actually have to go with PS1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
right.
nice.
You know what it was? I had so many memories of playing some amazing games. I mean, like between Bloody Roar, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Jet Moto. I mean, like, God, the amount of times my friends and I would be playing Jet Moto.
I like Jet Moto. I remember Jet Moto. Oh my god.
I didn't play Jet Moto.
I don't think I played Jet.
And Jet Moto too.
I
definitely didn't play
some
the
of the
sequel.
early Need for Speeds. I remember
Racing. Yes.
Siphon Filter.
Siphon
I got
Filter.
into Siphon Filter.
I
I did
did
get into
Filter.
Siphon
Weren't
Filter,
you
yes.
also being on Metal Gear Solid?
I loved it.
But that was more. I got
That's-
into it in PS2.
That's my favorite
PS2,
game on that
okay.
system. Is Metal
The
Gear
original
Solid.
Metal Gear?
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
See,
Solid,
I only played Twin Snakes, and
Got
I
it.
went Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I tried to play regular MGS, and I was like, I can't. I need the the different views.
Got it.
So I went to Twin Snakes.
You play those newer games and you go back to Metal Gear Solid. It's like trying to control a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. I mean, I know it hides in a
it's true.
cardboard box, but it's like
It's
Yeah.
definitely true.
I remember I tried buying Metal Gear Solid. I accidentally bought the VR missions.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, this is weird. Why
is
am I not?
different.
What's going on?
This is
This is just VR
Oh,
missions.
what's
Okay.
this great story that I hear all about?
I'm not seeing it.
I wouldn't have predicted you saying PS1, so that was a cool little surprise.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.
I think we need to bring somebody else in here to
I
talk
think-
about his stuff.
I think so too, but we had it planned for someone else to step out, but I got to go grab something real quick.
Okay.
So I'm going to step out.
Okay.
And our good friend here, Jake, Jack, Billy, Bob.
Jake from State
You
Farm.
mean Jake from State Farm? Yes. Is going to join
You
us. So Jack,
Stop
come on
me if
in.
you want, yeah.
I know you've been behind the camera or cameras or camera.
Bill. Yeah.
Welcome.
Who let him in?
And there goes. He goes. He got here before you, actually.
Shit. You
So-
still let him in though?
No, the question is who let you in, sir?
That
know?
was you.
I told Jack to lock the door, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Jack, welcome to 300.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping us set up whatever the heck we got set up here. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
that
on.
flopped.
Yeah, I can tell considering that
Fine
since the
work
other
here.
camera is sitting on the chair instead of
Yeah.
filming,
It's been used in production for about 4 years, and it's never overheated.
it just overheated.
Yep.
Just
Turned off,
overheated.
was like,
That's
yep,
great.
Nope. Done.
Not
You know what?
doing this show.
You know what? Somehow I blame Larry for that.
Yeah. probably
So
not.
I do too.
yeah, as we
As
well.
yeah, Larry, you gonna try beating my high
I'm
score?
going to try something here, yeah.
it turned off as
Alright.
soon as he said he doesn't like.
I'll go for the
Breath of
low
the
score in a
Wild.
little
Yeah,
bit.
see, he said he hates
No.
Breath of the Wild, and your camera's
Camera's
like,
like,
nope,
nope.
I'm out on this
Done.
one.
I think
All
technically.
All right, so while Larry tries to beat the high score that I put on his machine, 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Has it been that long?
I think it's been 3 years.
No,
No, more like
Let's
two.
go to the
No, 2
pandemic.
years.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
that
it was
long
after
ago.
COVID.
It-
All
So
right.
2 years.
All right, so maybe like 2 years ago. It's still sitting up there. Larry's going to try and beat it. Meanwhile, Jack, we're talking favorite consoles, talking favorite games. Where do you land on a favorite console?
Console is Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. All
Right
right.
after Nintendo, just the graphics bump and everything else was just so great to see. And that was the first time I started playing games by myself, whereas like the Nintendo was more of a family thing. So my favorite games were the Mario series,
Okay.
and that's because it was like a time for family. Like we would all play together,
That's
and
cool.
it would be older and younger people. Like my uncle loved it.
Nice.
And he got into Duck Hunt, and I hated Duck Hunt. But then that dog.
Hogan's Alley was
PTSD.
more.
You just,
your-
yeah, I was going to say, you didn't like the dog laughing at you all the
Operation
time?
Wolf.
So
Gunsmoke.
when I got the Super Nintendo, I also got a Zelda game for the Nintendo,
Ah, I see.
and that's when I started playing Zelda. So
Got it. So you never played the original Zelda on NES?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
until I got the Super Nintendo.
Alright.
Then I got the cart for it, and then I
So
played
you
them on the NES.
so is the Super Nintendo your favorite system because that's when you got to tell your family to take a hike?
Yeah, pretty much. They didn't like the graphics. They didn't like change. I did. Yeah, so
You were all about change even back then?
yeah,
Fear change.
Wow.
I was a rebel.
Some of us do. Good luck with Ms.
16
Pac-Man.
bits.
So then was so Mario World your favorite? Zelda your favorite? If
like
you had to
Mario
pick
World.
Mario World?
But it was definitely Zelda on the Super Nintendo.
Well, I mean, A Link to the Past is
it was just phenomenal.
yeah, arguably one of the best games ever made.
So the week before my son was born, Jack and I had kind of like a little bachelor party type of thing where we sat down and just played retro games for like a weekend. And I had said I'd never played and beaten Super Mario World, so we just ran through the entire game, and from start to finish, boom.
That's crazy.
That's what he thinks.
That's crazy. The fact that you would not the fact that you didn't beat it, but the fact that you never played it is just foreign to me.
Yeah.
Especially, but then since you said earlier you didn't get the Super Nintendo till like '96,
Right.
It's an easy way for you to miss it. What are we doing there? You just fiddling and get in front of the camera? Get over there. Keep trying to beat my score. You're not going to do it.
Production faux pas.
Production faux pas. Yes. But what else? What else on the Super Nintendo do you?
I
Would
have
you point
a
out?
very limited selection of games at the time, so
Okay.
I'm like recently now going back and buying and playing games. But we pretty much just played Zelda and Mario.
Just Zelda and Mario.
Yep.
No Mario Kart.
And Mario Kart.
Wow.
Mario Kart only on the N64. My cousin got it. So
All right, fair enough.
that was the first time.
Yeah, because Super Nintendo for me, like again, the first two I always think of: Super Mario World, Link to the Past, by
Yep.
far, no question.
Link to
and
the Past was one of the best.
Link to the Past was one of the best for
those-
sure.
those are their
Till Breath of the
banner,
Wild
yeah.
came out. But then I also remember, like, again, like when Super Mario Kart came out, I loved that. I'm trying to think of like other games. I had a fixation in the early '90s on American Gladiators.
Oh, I remember.
So when that game came out, I used to play that game like crazy. I love the American
remember
Gladiators
that.
game on Super Nintendo.
I thought I remembered something on the Nintendo with American Gladiators.
No.
They had one on Super Nintendo too.
They had because it had at the time Super Nintendo was already out, so they made it for both systems, and the Super Nintendo one was far better.
I used to watch that show too.
Contra
That was fun.
3.
Contra 3, another
Loved
great
Contra
game.
3.
Animaniacs I used to play all the time too
wow,
on
yeah.
Super Nintendo.
And
I
Looney
enjoyed that
Tunes
game.
for some
I
reason
remember
had.
my brother. He loved because he had a Super Nintendo too. I went to Genesis. He went to Super Nintendo.
I was Genesis
Actor,
as well.
yeah.
Oh, so you were
Actraiser.
a house divided.
Oh yeah, we hated each other.
Nice.
So
I love how all the family love is coming out on the
Oh,
episode now
100%.
too.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely one of those things where it was like, Nintendo Better than us.
Yeah,
Sega,
exactly.
Today.
But Jack, was the Super Nintendo the first console you actually tried taking apart and
Nope.
fixing? Nope.
That was my Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay.
So back then, the screens were just dimly lit. So
They were
someone came
horrible.
out with a backlight mod, and we just took it apart and started modding it. I think it was college
You
when
know,
we did that.
off
Wow.
topic for 1 second, if you don't mind. I unplugged my Xbox, moving some furniture around
Just
yesterday.
it's
when
tech hour
when
now.
when I plugged it back in, right, the light goes on, shuts off, doesn't turn on anymore.
Oh,
Doesn't turn on at all. The light doesn't even go on anymore. But when I put the power cord into the back of the Xbox, I hear a buzz, which makes me think something popped.
something shorted
When
you
I
flipped it.
unplugged maybe a transistor or the peg.
Uh,
Is it is it repairable or should I just?
no, it's repairable.
Okay.
Yeah,
I figured
we can pop it open.
It's I mean, the problem being is it's a brick now. You should give it to us.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need it anymore. It's
No,
No,
you
I
don't
was
need
gonna
it.
do that anyway because
Don't need
my
it.
PlayStation 3 burnt out. My youngest daughter's the first Xbox we had, or the brick that she had on it, caught fire.
Yeah.
I wasn't home. She's telling, "What should I do, Daddy? It's smoking." I was like, "Just unplug it.
Just
You'll be
unplug it.
fine. Don't worry. You won't get zapped.
Meanwhile,
Plug it. Take it outside. It smells. I'm sure."
Anthony knows all about this because
Yeah.
I sold him that Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Larry sold me his old
Should I-
Xbox.
Should I call it the lemon box?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, because Larry sold me his 360 because what'd you get? Did you get a newer version? of the
New version
360?
360.
He got a new version of 360. He's like, "Oh, so you're my old one? Great, I got it." Literally the day I plugged it
Ring
in,
of Death.
Red Ring of Death.
Red Ring.
Oh, so you have a history of selling faulty equipment?
Yeah,
Sales
he-
are final.
He said, "Yeah." Larry is the
Driveway guarantee.
Larry is the used car salesman of consoles.
Okay.
Yes. But you know what? It worked out for me in the long run because I sent it back to Microsoft and they gave me a new one. So I was like, okay, no harm, no foul. But all right, guys. Well, so then Super Nintendo for you.
And then after that, I didn't own a Nintendo console I owned all the handhelds, but the console I didn't own until the Wii came out.
Oh wow! So you skipped N64 and you skipped GameCube.
And I only got it for Twilight Princess because I wanted to check out the motion controls on that.
And how did that work out for you?
I loved it.
Oh, good.
I was one of those people that actually loved it.
All right, cool. Yeah, see, it's funny because I owned every Nintendo console up to the Wii. I did not buy a Wii
Oh, interesting.
because I did not. Because at the time I was like, I don't want to stand in my living room waving my arms around like crazy just to play a game. And now that's all we do with VR and
I
all that
skipped
stuff.
the N64.
Yeah, which is crazy because you missed out on like 2 great Zelda games.
Yeah.
GoldenEye, Perfect
And you
Dark.
missed on. I've still to this day I've never played GoldenEye.
You know, the only Nintendo system I personally ever owned was the Wii U.
Huh.
Nobody got the Wii U. That's a
No,
good
I
thing.
have a Wii U.
You had the- I
Oh,
liked
I
it.
know, I have a Wii U.
I had
I'm
Wii
very-
was amazing.
enjoyed-
Yeah.
I like that NES remix. Remember that?
Yep,
That
I
was
love
really
that.
cool.
It's a great
That was
game.
really cool.
Well, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say you can tell how like you can tell that the Wii U had really great games because they're all coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, you're right.
They're just putting them all on the Switch now so that people will buy
Both
them.
my daughters were babies and they loved it.
Yep. Yeah. Larry, what happened on Miss Pac-Man?
I'm coming back. Thank you, Jack.
Jack, thank you for jumping
Thank you,
in there.
Jack.
You started mentioning Breath of the Wild,
So you had to
and
come
that's when
back?
I started. That's when
Well,
everything
you-
started going downhill.
Well, no, when you started dissing Breath of the Wild, it broke Jack's camera.
So I got like 28,000.
Just gotta
points. It was
be
a
a happy
terrible run.
medium
It was a
here.
terrible
Yeah,
run.
so was your normal run.
No, normal run's usually a whole lot better than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's not high score run.
Yeah, whatever. So I think we're gonna get ready to wrap this section up.
We're gonna
section
wrap
up.
this segment up. Yes.
But before we do that, I kind of want, because we have some people here. It is episode 300. It was also your birthday.
It
Happy
was.
birthday.
It's not wrapped, but happy birthday and happy 300.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, look! I get to
go.
unwrap the clear plastic.
Yes, you do.
When
Where
was your
did you-
birthday? Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Mine was the day before.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
What
Here you
birthday?
go.
Oh, look at that.
This isn't your podcast.
Another good PlayStation
It's
game.
Pa Rapper the Rapper from Japan.
The Japanese one.
The
And if
Japanese
you
one.
open
That's
it up,
cool. That was a
feel
good
free to
game.
open it up
You want me to open it?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
because, and I know
What-
you
what
have
did-
regular
what
Pa
did-
Rapper.
What did you do to it?
No, it's not that. It's just you just just open it and look at the disc itself. How the art, a Japanese cart.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
a Japanese CD.
Okay, that's really cool. Check out the art on that.
Oh wow.
That's nice. Very cool.
You guys see that? Really, really cool.
To a point where I honestly, if I had more time, I would have framed it, but I didn't have time.
That is really cool. I actually just beat this game. not
And
too
there's a
long
cool
ago,
poster
again.
that comes with it too.
Ooh, I get a poster?
So what happened was one of the Game On locations
Yeah.
really brought in a lot of Japanese games.
Very, very nice.
That was one of the more fun games.
I
Yeah,
never
that was a
played
cool
Pa
game. I
Rapper.
remember-
That was the
I
thing.
remember
Yeah,
that.
this
yeah.
was a game that you can beat in like
Yep.
half an hour.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep.
Like if you played well.
Okay, one of the levels has you literally chasing a toilet on
Yes.
a train. On a
No,
train
you're
tracks.
at what?
On tra-
On this? No. You're at a gas station. You have to go to the bathroom, but you gotta go. You have to out rap the people waiting in line.
But if you remember, if you go into the
As you
U-Wrap
do in
and
life.
Cool,
Oh
it
yes,
go, it,
it
the
goes.
toilets on the
That's
train
right.
tracks.
I know I remember that. Yep.
So it's more the art of how that looks
Yes.
and everything.
This is
so-
really cool. Thank you
Yeah,
very
no,
much.
no
a really
problem,
cool
no
gift.
problem.
Thank
I know how
you.
much you love it. So
I do love
But
it.
yeah, no, that Game On Smithtown.
Very, very cool.
Did a huge. If you're into Japanese gaming, I mean, they got a lot. They're doing a lot of imported stuff.
Oh, very
A
cool.
lot of imported, so it's really cool.
What
And
about Super Potato?
Super Potato is not as far away as
But they're on
Game
eBay.
On is. They are, and at least they have proper shipping.
Yes, that is true.
So we can talk about that later.
Yes.
But and also let's throw it out there for Game On as well.
Yes.
They're a huge
Thank
part
you,
of the
Game
show. You know, I can never get the owner of the show on, Tristan.
I
bit
have
of
a
a
way
hype
with people.
from-
I'll talk to them too.
Talk to him.
see.
You're here now. so
now
yeah.
that you're back. But
By the way, with people, he means he's gonna black bag them. And
do what you got to do. A little, crack at the back
Isn't
of the
that
head.
how I usually get you here?
Soy amigo de cartel.
All right, so we're going to, I don't know who's coming in next, but we're going to have someone else come in.
Well, yeah, I think what we're going to do right now, because as part of celebrating 300, we have a bunch of people on the show. I think right now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our conversation with Josh from
Okay.
Victims and Villains.
Let's make sure we do that first.
Yes.
We'll see in a little bit. All right, so we're back here, a little bit of a different setting, obviously, because this was a little more convenient for some of us. But of course, we cannot have episode 300 without having actually one of the first guests, one of the first crossovers, probably the first crossover that we ever did with another podcast. Josh from Victims and Villains, welcome back. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. I can't honestly remember. I was trying to think this morning. I did a Instagram story saying I was going to be on your guys' show. I was like, I don't know when the last time I was actually on here
Yeah, no,
was.
it's definitely been a while. It's been I think at least a year.
Yeah.
So
It's fine. Just
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's like, life is like crazy. So
Life is like a
You know.
hurricane.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a box of chocolates.
it is a box of chocolates. I feel like once you reach a certain age,
Yes.
when
you
you're
got that right.
late 20s, early 30s, like in my case, I feel
what?
like it's
I'm so sorry.
box of, box of
you're
hurricanes.
you're still in the chocolate caramel phase. We're at the age where you bite into them and you throw them out because they taste like crap.
Yeah, we're like raspberry nougat or something.
I
So,
like the raspberry ones.
oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
No.
So- but yeah, things obviously happening, but all good things, of course. And just real quick, because you're on, give a quick shout out for your stuff, because obviously we want people to follow you as well.
Sure. So you guys can so my resume is like kind of doubled, if not tripled, since last time I was on here. So you guys now can find my other podcast along with Victims and Villains, which is mental health through pop culture. We do a Nicolas Cage podcast called That's High Praise once a month. And you guys can also catch our horror podcast where we talk about horror through mental health. Mental health through horror, called Abyss Gazing. They're all under Victims and Villains wherever you guys can find it. We're also currently fundraising right now. You guys can find us find that link on Linktree. And if you are a filmmaker, we are also running a film festival that is mental health through horror that will be screening April 14th and 15th with some pretty cool surprises. So if you would like to enter your screenplay, short film, or feature, it is filmfreeway.com/horrific hope film festival.
All right, hey, that's
Very
definitely
cool.
a lot more stuff.
We may have to talk later about that, Josh.
Probably there is a filmmaker somewhere.
I'm always open. You got my number.
Yes, I do.
So now,
hey,
all
it's
the
a cat.
time, yes, all the time that Anthony was showing his cat, I'm watching this little bucket of horror.
Hmm.
So, right?
Very, very nice.
Mwah.
This show is very per cat.
Go break something.
My little buckets are running around somewhere. My youngest was asleep at my feet when I woke up this morning, and I'm pretty sure she's still there.
Nice. She's like, I'm not getting up this early.
No, she'll get up probably around like 10 or so.
So let me ask you: do you remember? This is just fun. Do you remember the game and the crossover that we talked about, like the very first time when we originally got together?
Remember it was something about Power Rangers.
Yes, it was, and I, for some reason, I love. Yes, that's why I love it. So yes, it was. We talked about the Power Rangers. We talked about the games, of course. This is when the reboot came out, which I had.
I just
high hopes
watched that
for
a couple weeks
at
ago.
first. And then and then we talked about the movie. And every time, once in a blue moon, if I catch it on TV, like if it's playing on HBO or whatever, and it gets to that scene, really at this point, the only scene that I enjoyed, not to go back and re-review it, but when, you finally see all the Zords and then you get the iconic dan, 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 and they just go like, go Power Rangers, and they stop it before Mighty Morphin. And how much I love it versus how much Anthony hated that scene, and just shows the hour dichotomy for 299 episodes into episode 300. So, and then I think about,
and our dichotomy has held up that way.
It has. And I think about, and then that went from Power Rangers to Castlevania to a whole bunch of other stuff. And yes, so, and then you guys do the Friday the 13th, which I don't know if you have a couple left, I think, at this point. So
We have 3 left.
We have 3 left.
Awesome.
By the time we get through them, there'll be a 4th one.
There will be a 4th one,
There will be
hopefully.
a
And I mean,
4th
if we
one,
really wanted to keep it going, we could like start talking about like the Friday the
TV show?
13th, this TV show.
That's very true. And there
we
are
could
3
just do,
seasons
like-
of that, so we'll do that until we're like 80.
We'll just do like half a season for like one episode, then we'll like come back and
jeez.
I don't know.
So,
We'll talk.
but with this being episode 300, we've been talking to a lot of people, a lot of our friends who've been on the shows and everything, and we asked them, what's your of all time, like what's your favorite console? What's your favorite video game? And I remember when we first started talking, you were, and I don't, it might have changed, don't get me wrong, but I remember you were very heavy into Genesis, and I remember you were looking all over for Bloodline, Castlevania Bloodline.
Yep.
You're like, I definitely, and trust me, it's a tough game to find.
It's a tough game to find, but also at the same time buy for an appropriate price. I've come across it quite a few times in the wild, and I am just not ready to pay the price that they are going for. So
it's a pretty penny. I mean, this is why I'm still paying credit cards.
Yeah,
so
exactly, and this is why I never got rid of my original copy of Bloodlines because it was so rare. So I'm very happy it's in my collection.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, are you still playing the Genesis? Like, what are you at now?
So my wife and I moved to Richmond a couple of years ago now, and I have both my PlayStation and my Sega Genesis hooked up, and I have probably played my PS1 more in the last couple of years than I have my Sega Genesis. My Sega Genesis is like, I feel like it's. I have to be in the mood for a Genesis now because I feel like I have to fight the cartridges. Whereas when I'm plugging in my PlayStation, all I gotta do is pop in a disc. So
wow, that's very. I almost feel like that. I feel like that's almost an age gap between us and you. I don't know, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because we grew up with that battle, and then the how the world knew to blow into a cartridge before the internet. Because no one told me to do that, but that's very
right.
That's
actually, we were told not to do that.
Yeah,
technically, I never read that.
Yeah. We never read it, but we were told not to blow into a cartridge, and we did.
It's not necessarily an age gap, but I think, but by like now, where I'm at in life now, it's I feel like when you guys were growing up, and I grew up on Nintendo, Sega, the same. I grew up with cartridges, so it's like it's not like I'm abandoning them, but they were also less than 5 years old at that point, so they had more of a capability of working, whereas now they're not. Now they're like 20 to 30 years old depending on what game you're playing.
You're right. When we started this podcast, this collection was not here. Hurricane Sandy, blah blah blah, is what it is. But when I started getting these, that's also when I discovered I had to start buying like Brasso and rubbing alcohol and just a bunch of Q-tips just for the systems.
Yep.
Just to get them to work. And you're right. There have been some cases. I even had a system that just was so difficult to get Genesis cartridges in and a stupid converter to be able to play Game Gear games and everything that
he threw it out after a day instead of sending it back for a refund.
Why?
Why? You know what? That those 3 letters are something I use more with Larry than anything else.
It's a combination of international shipping and rage. So when those 2 things came into play,
90% rage, 10% shipping.
I was like, let me just get rid of this. But I'm happy because the systems I have now are good to go. Anything particular?
Only cost them like 5 times the amount of money, though.
You know what? Well worth it. Like I said, it's mwah. Cream fraiche.
Yes. Josh, to you, what if we had to pinpoint you or pin you down to a specific game, not necessarily a console, but if you had to pick, like, what is your favorite or most memorable game of all time?
This is really going to show you the age gap between us. But it was Rugrats Search for Reptar on PlayStation 1, which was one of the first games my sister and I got when we got our original PlayStation. And when I moved originally, I got rid of my PlayStation, and then I came into another one thanks to my friend Anthony. And that was one of the games that I searched, and I found it for like a really good price. And it was just a game that like our entire family played a lot growing up, whether it was mini golf or some of the end game in-game races they had. It was the first video game I stayed up all night playing. It was the first video game I beat. So it's really nostalgic for me, and it's like, if I want to like invest into some like nostalgia and just like have a good time, like that's a great game to go.
That's cool. Great game, great show.
That's right.
So it works out well.
Never watched the show, never played the game.
Put a couple
Unfortunately,
of
You
episodes.
are missing out.
I know. I was a little too old for it at the time.
That's fair. Even,
I think.
but I was gonna say, even as an adult. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what's happening with me because I'm going back watching a lot of shows, and when I was watching as a kid versus now as an adult, now getting the jokes and everything like that. But I'm with you, Josh. Don't worry. I've always stuck to the, if you enjoy the show, you enjoy the show. Like I refuse to watch the rebooted DuckTales. I will always go back to the original. I don't care what anyone tells me.
All right. Well,
in fact, I was blasting that theme song in the car on the way home the other day.
And I'm just old.
What? As we all are.
Leave it at that.
Do you find? I know you said because you moved within the last couple of years or whatever, and I know with your podcasts aren't as game heavy as we do, obviously as we are. But do you find yourself like if you do maybe come across like a retro game store or something like that? Do you happen to maybe just want to pop in? I'm not saying that you're looking to buy anything, but just kind of to look around and see what's up.
So my co-host and I for Abyss Gazing, our horror podcast, we live like under 2 hours away from each other. And a couple of months ago, I went down to go visit him, and so I was like, "Yeah, take me to like somewhere like cool in Hampton, Virginia." And he took me to a retro video game, like physical media anime, like three-way hybrid store, and
nice.
It was just a celebration of pop culture, and for like probably the first time in like since the pandemic, like it was the first time I'd been in a retro game store. That's not true. I was in one last year, so like yeah, I still from time to time stumble into them. It's been a while since I've actually like picked up and bought anything. I think the last game I remember buying was oddly enough, like Tomb Raider 2 or that terrible Spice Girls game from the 90s.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, don't look for it, Larry. I took care of it.
It was terrible. I love the Spice Girls, and I just could not get into that game.
The game was terrible.
It was terrible.
So bad.
Not only was it a terrible game, it's a game Larry has on his shelf somewhere, which is just really sad.
Hey, listen, it's the 25th anniversary of Spice World, their second album that came out, okay? Geez. And their limited edition album is getting ready to drop in a week or two.
And there goes more money, Larry.
Oh, what are you kidding me? No, iTunes. But yep, there we go. That's what we're talking about right there.
Yeah.
It was such a terrible game, though.
So bad.
The only good part about it was the music video that was in it. Like the real one.
Be ashamed.
Yeah.
Just be ashamed.
You
both own it. Shame.
It was a
No, go ahead, Josh.
It's a cool game in concept because you can like there's a part in it where you can like design like your own like dance moves and like your own like music video and like choreography and like that's like cool. So you have to like it's almost kind of like a puzzle to like put the song together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. It's like it's one of those games that doesn't have a lot of replayability. You're like you play it once and you're like, this is okay.
It falls into Britney's dance beat. So,
you have that too, don't you?
I did. Oh. I might still do.
Wait, what system is that for?
You never heard about Britney's dance beat?
No.
Wasn't that also PlayStation?
It was no PS2, I think.
It was PS2.
It was PS2, and it was just basically and I think that's due for a remaster at this point, probably. I
think Britney period is due for a remaster.
So, and actually, me and Josh did a Spice Girls episode, and we were talking about that game. So,
oh my,
it was pretty funny.
We did.
Yes, that's awesome.
Sounds like a Britney episode. Sounds like a Britney episode's on the horizon.
That wasn't that big of a Britney. So
maybe.
With that being said, though,
that's just toxic, Larry.
What?
Completely toxic.
Let's try and cleanse.
It's because she's a slave for you.
Wow. Oops, I did it again. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for her circus pop vinyls to come in. I don't know why they're taking so long from the circus video. There he is.
He came over for episode 300. Hello.
You want to say hi to another cat that you've never seen in your life? No, you just want to continue to destroy my Switch controllers?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. That's what Mike's doing.
just to go back to gaming really quickly. I actually thought you were going to say Power Rangers. I did not expect you to say Rugrats. So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, like I played Power Rangers a whole lot growing up. It was probably my gateway into being a gamer that is particular to like fighting games. It's probably the reason that I gravitate towards more modern titles like Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight. And I'm looking forward to Texas Chainsaw next year.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And Killer Clowns.
Oh yeah, Killer Clowns
I forgot
from Outer
about
Space.
Killer Clowns.
Yes.
Yeah, so like that was kind of like my first intro into that. It was also another first. I don't want to say it was the first, but it was another game that I also beat. I think it was the first game I ever beat on live stream, actually. And it might be the only game I've ever beat on live stream. But yeah, I love that game. Like it's probably also one of my top 5.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. And anything else like as far as like a not I don't say a goal, but like almost like a holy grail as what you would like maybe. We each had that. I had Shining Force 3 on Saturn. Anthony had the Virtual Boy. Is there any?
We all know what happened to the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, Anthony got his Virtual Boy.
That's right. I did get it, and then you got it.
And now
destroyed.
I still have it. Is there anything out there that you would love to, and again, even if it's a gajillion dollars, like, is there that one that you would like to just have be like, I have this?
So I had a game that was my holy grail, and you actually bought it for me. It was the Ghost in the Shell one.
Oh yes.
Oh nice.
And so like now like my holy grail game has still been Castlevania Symphony of the
Symphony of the
Night.
Symphony of the Night, yeah. I was gonna say Dark/Devil, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, Symphony of the Night is definitely up there, and it's I've also come across it a couple times in the wild, and I'm just again not ready to pay that pretty.
We
penny.
get it.
Yeah.
Trust me, we totally understand. You definitely wouldn't. That's with us, there's a lot of gamers out there who or call themselves gamers who are like, doesn't matter how much it is, I'm getting it.
Yep.
I kind of in the same philosophy, but it's more because I love it, not because I need it. But yeah, you're definitely not out of your means. There's other ways usually, like re-releases and stuff that are cheaper. But you never know. You might see that one person who accidentally priced it wrong. In your favor.
That's what I'm hoping. Like just like you stumble into like a yard sale, they're just like 50 cents. And I'm
exactly.
Like,
and pounce.
Here's $1.
Just pounce.
So,
but awesome.
Right, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for being on the show here. Again, 300. We certainly couldn't have done it without you, because again, you were one of the first shows, like I said earlier, where we did the crossovers and taught us to be able to play nicely with others. Well, Anthony already knew how to play nicely with others. Me, I still don't know how to play nicely with others. But still,
you're not capable. That's why I'm here. I'm here to ground you. And Josh is our moral compass.
Thank you. I guess that's but I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, congratulations on 300 episodes, guys. That's such a huge milestone. I feel like some podcasts, barely make it past 10, let alone 100. And it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of work to continue doing something that you love. And welcome to the 300 club.
Thank you very much. So again, Josh, thank you for being on the show. We need
Absolutely.
you back on a little bit more often now.
Yes, we do.
Well, you both have my number, so.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to throw it back, I guess, at this point, or throw it over. We'll see.
All right, now joining us for our epic 300th episode, and we could not do 300 without you, my friend. My hashtag VB Sucks partner, Charlie. Charlie, how's it going, man?
I'm awake. It is too early to be awake. Even though it is 11 o'clock, it's still too early to be awake on a Sunday, so you guys should feel special.
Oh, no, we feel special, especially when one of us has been up for 7 hours already.
Well, you guys are special. Well, you guys are special to begin with, but we don't need to discuss that here.
No, we definitely, only me and my shrink know that. So.
Yeah. So first off, thank you again for having me. Happy 300th.
Thank you.
Anthony, welcome back to the East Coast.
Thank you. It's been interesting, to say the least.
And any complaints about the subway, send them to me, and I'll completely ignore them.
All right, sounds well. That, you know what, that kind of goes with the trend from what I'm hearing about the subways these days.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Oh boy. Well, the good thing is we're not talking about the subway system today.
News and traffic on the hour.
Exactly.
Together on the 8th.
There you go. All right. Well, on this 8, we're going to be talking about obviously retro gaming, as we've done for 300 episodes, but more specifically, Charlie.
Oh, I thought we were talking about calculus.
Oh no, no, we're not talking about calculus. Definitely not. That's your expertise. You can do a podcast on that.
No, unless I have Donkey Kong Jr. math.
That's very true. Yeah, you know, funny thing about that, Larry still hasn't beaten.
I've never beaten it. No, probably. Multiplication.
But no, you know, we've been having everybody on the episode, and we've been talking about everyone's favorite console, favorite game. We know that you're a big handheld guy. We know you love your Game Boys and all that. But just in general, like if you had to pick one console and say this was the absolute hands down favorite for you, whether handheld or actual console, which one would it be?
I had such a hard time making this decision because, you know, like you said, I am the handheld person on this show, phrasing, and there are so many options to choose from. But I chose one that has been obviously it is my favorite, just because of the portability and the availability of the games that you're able to play on it.
I think he has it. Ooh, Game Boy Advance, GBA.
Nice
the original
choice.
Boy Advance, not the flip. So, story about the Game Boy Advance. I got it as a Christmas gift from my girlfriend at the time, back on Christmas in 2002. So, yeah, that thing's 20 years old and it's still kicking.
Wow.
Then so is my original Game Boy, going on 30.
Yeah.
Half.
Wow.
But the thing I like about the Game Boy Advance, it was the first Nintendo handheld with really crisp graphics and really good sound. Color, you know, like true color, unlike the Game Boy Color, and the backwards compatibility with the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Color games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, for a world where backwards capability nowadays is almost tough to talk about, Nintendo was doing that handheld wise. Nintendo was going straight even into the first DS, because that was backwards compatible with a Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and everything like that. So it was pretty cool to see how Nintendo kind of kept that going for a little while, especially with the handhelds.
Yeah, definitely. And also the game selection, it's pretty good. First off, being able to play the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Color games was a plus. But they also did a whole bunch of re-releases on it. And I have them all with.
Holy cow, this guy's more prepared than we were.
Yeah, clearly.
Blind Squirrel finds out once and once.
Well, I have an excuse. My stuff isn't here yet.
Yeah, that's a good reason. You know, when they start with the Super Mario Advance series.
Those were awesome.
Yeah, and me being the Mario person, you know, I had to pick up on it, you know. So starting with the Mario Advance series, and plus my favorite Metroid game of all time.
Fusion, yes. Oh my gosh.
You know, even and Mary.
I'm stuck on the spider boss.
Oh, the spider boss is easy.
I don't know why I'm having trouble with it. Also, I haven't played it in about 6 months.
You're afraid of spiders, maybe.
I had, growing up, my arachnophobia was, just bone chilling.
Oh, I love spiders. I have them all over my house. And plus, you just can't finish a game, Larry, because you have commitment issues.
No, that I will agree with you on that when it comes to TV shows. Very rarely will I get through a final season and a last episode because I don't want it to end in my head. But video games, I've been doing pretty good. Just Fusion, I got stuck on that one boss and I'm just like,
Yeah, I must say, like, Larry this year has actually completed quite a few.
I've done, I ran through some Mega Mans.
Nice.
And some Metroids.
Metro, oh yeah. I was, like I said, because right after that, I was ready for Other M.
And the other thing that they did was they released some of the classic games just for Game Boy Advance.
The original Super Mario Brothers.
Mario.
And those were really good qualities too. Again,
Zelda,
original Zelda. Oh, you got almost all of them.
Castlevania, very nice.
I think Zelda 2 as well, right? Donkey Kong.
That's in the wrong spot. And of course,
Metroid. The original Metroid. Yeah, those series, because basically
for me when I got it, because I was still leery about like N64 and GameCube because it just wasn't for me. So being able to play all these games in a portable setting was perfect for me because I'd bring it to work and, sit down and play it when I had downtime. And I still actually do that at work. I have my 3DS sitting on my desk at work.
There you go.
Nice.
And the Game Boy Advance was almost like a Super Nintendo in your hand.
Basically,
so obviously, doing the original NES games would be a little easier, than some of these games that were on Game Boy Color as well. Like look at Super Mario Brothers DX Deluxe. That was just weird on the Game Boy Color, but it might have, for some it might have been. I got the SPs. I got a couple of SPs. What is your take on the Micro? The Game Boy Micro, which I think is very, very what's what I'm looking for?
Underrated.
Underrated, absolutely underrated.
I've never actually played it. So
no? Oh, okay.
I've never tried it or anything.
Colors absolutely pop on this thing.
Yeah.
So,
I just can't understand playing a video game on a screen the size of your thumb.
You know what it was? This was at the tail end, right before the DS came out. They're like, you know what? Let's just throw it out there. And it was literally just designed. Literally, they're like, you put it in your back pocket and you play it on the go. And even though the screen is small, I've definitely gotten through games on the pocket. I mean, on the Micro. This is
original Game Boy.
But it's also Anthony when I was telling him about there was a pizzeria where like the whole thing was you make your own pizza, and then Anthony had to destroy that by going, "Isn't every pizzeria you make your own pizza?" I mean, it's true.
Am I wrong?
But it was. I mean, you went in, you select your dough, you select your toppings, you select your sauce.
You're not making it by hand, so I really don't think that counts.
Well,
the series. So the series with Mario, but yeah. Mm-hmm. My go-to game, it's either the original Mario. It's usually the original Mario 2 or even 3. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm in an angry mood, it's usually Mario 2. If I just need to relax a little bit, maybe it's Mario 3.
Nice.
With Mary right now, it's which one is on the Switch? This not that we're playing
Odyssey?
through. No, Deluxe. No.
Oh, the one from Wii U.
That's
Wii U
it.
Deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing through that right now together, and my
That's
daughter
a fun one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. We're at Bowser's Castle, and my daughter does not know how to be a team player. She's very bossy. I don't know where she gets that from.
No idea, none whatsoever.
How'd she do with Pokemon that she picked up at the expo?
Oh, you mean
I guess apparently buried away already. Yeah.
There you go.
Still playing through it, but she loves it.
Good.
She's still
good
through it.
Very cool.
Did you have the Super Game Boy?
Did I? No, wait. I had the one that not the Super Game Boy.
Oh, the one on the Game Cube?
Connected to the bottom of the cube.
Oh, Game Boy Player. Okay. Same thing.
Yeah. No, I need to get a Super Game Boy for my Super Nintendo. That would be nice.
Well, the Super Game Boy is cool because that one, especially we had the Super Game Boy games, you get the graphics, the special colors, and the special borders and everything like that.
Yeah, so. I almost picked it up when I was at the expo, but then I saw the Famicom and poof.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, which is hooked up in the room next door. Along with my Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo to my TV, which is as old as me. That's nice. On the floor.
So. I love my Famicom. I just don't like how short the controller cord is.
Yeah,
a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still trying to. Disk drive is now my next thing to find.
Yeah,
is
me
the
too.
Famicom because it will hook up to the analog NT Noir. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
well, the next time Anthony goes to Japan, we'll just have him go to Super Potato for us.
Yeah. You think that wasn't going to happen?
Yeah. This time I'll just bring an extra suitcase just for Super Potato.
Yeah, you might as well. We'll chip in and we'll give you money for the extra carry.
Like, for the extra carry on, yeah.
Like Anthony, we acquisitioned okay for this money, but who is this person? Oh, don't worry, it's just a friend of mine. Just happens to be here. Hello, and here exactly. I am. Hello.
with just a bunch of bags.
Don't mind me. So, all right. Well, Charles, thank you very much for being on the show. We really do appreciate it. Again, like Anthony said, we couldn't do this episode without having you on the show because
I'm touched.
Well, you ruined my life for a while with the hashtag VB.
Well, wait. You brought it upon yourself because you accused me of breaking your VB.
I'm pretty sure you
accused me of breaking your Virtual Boy, so you deserved it.
I still think. Well, then Anthony took it one step further, so don't worry about it.
I made sure it was broken.
Well, obviously, yeah. I would have been okay with everything, but no. Oh, you broke it when you picked it up and grabbed it off the desk and ran with it.
You breathe on it wrong, it breaks. The damn thing is so sensitive.
True.
But still, again, thank you very much for being on the episode.
Thank you very much for having me. Here's to another 300 episodes.
Oofa, there we go.
Oh, that's
all right. So let's bring it back, and we will be right back.
So what's going on with my Sega CD? You've had it for like 2 years.
Yeah, I love it. It's playing. I have.
What do you mean it's playing? You're supposed to be fixing it for me.
Yeah, I recapped it. I put a new battery in there.
Okay.
The lens was delayed by 4 weeks.
Okay.
We're still trying to.
Oh yeah, with the whole shit.
If you don't, can you fix this for me, please?
Oh my.
I think it's due.
Oh. You sawed the chip in half.
I take full responsibility of this, and I am not ashamed.
Look at that. It's sawed in half. Oh no.
Wait. Look.
Oh, what have you done?
Everything.
All right, so we're continuing on with episode 300, and as you can see, this is almost like the parts where we have the guests that we have on that couldn't come locally, but we still have them on the show.
Yeah, they're too good for us to show up.
Hell no, never that.
Actually, for the first time, the three of us are on. Yes. We have Felix on.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
Yes,
Long overdue,
man. Yes, man.
For the
Thank
two
you
of
guys
you,
for having me, man. And I want to congratulate you guys also for this 300th episode, man. Keep going. You guys are the best. The best.
Thank
all
you.
Right? I don't want to hear nothing. It's Retro Gamers Podcast.
This is the level of energy, Ant, that you have never witnessed before on this show, even with me.
I am afraid.
There's nothing to be afraid of. All love, baby.
Oh, jeez.
D-Say. That's all I know so far. I get to D-Say. That's it.
Coming through my screen here.
Of course, real quick, we want to give the shout out because every week on your show you give us a shout out. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah,
Flexo man. Productions, Comedy
man,
Confessions. You can give you a little shout outs here, my friend.
Oh man, yeah, man. Check us out. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. So we do at least twice a week. Now, you know, we used to do 4, but you know, life. It's life.
Of course, no, I hear you. I hear you.
So,
So, speaking of life, though, and we had you on the most recently when me and you were on, we had the PS2 episode. You had your own PS2 episode.
Yeah, it was an excellent episode too. I enjoyed that one.
Your review of the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. So you're definitely in the world. And now that we have with Ant here and the three of us can talk, as we've been doing with everyone, just we're reliving our passion of the days of old and everything like that. And so it was. What is growing up, or even right now, like what is just your go-to system? Which system is your favorite of all time? And you know,
that's
any good memories from it?
I gotta go with the Nintendo. I gotta go NES.
Old school original. Okay,
very nice.
The first ever. Yeah, I would have to go with NES #1, hands down. Not even thinking twice. Yeah, it's
that was a very reflexive response.
Yeah.
any
game that stands out or anything like that?
Double
like
Dragon 2, Contra.
Really? Okay.
I actually like the Toxic Avenger, man. I was actually watching. It's been
horror.
horror.
The Toxic Avenger.
I know, but I actually like that game, and it's really obviously hit detection. That's you know what I mean?
No, totally. The game's got its issues. Yeah.
The worst, but I mean, nothing is worse than Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, that's the #1.
Oh, I can name 2 games.
For real?
Yeah. Castlevania 2 and Breath of the Wild. So
it's worse the hit detection than that.
Oh no, I just meant in general. I just meant as an entity into the world of gaming.
Larry likes to knock games that are considered some of the best of all time.
Yeah.
So
like this Castlevania 2 is so good.
No, Castlevania 2 was a lot of fun. It was the black sheep of the series, but he loves to knock Breath of the Wild because he hates cooking in real life and in video games.
This is true.
Breath of the Wild, we're talking Zelda.
Yes.
Zelda,
I'm with Larry on that one.
Yes.
That one I gotta go with Larry on that one because it's just the climbing. Just kills me every time the climb. I'm like, it's raining, you're slipping. It's the worst.
You know what? Your character's just not strong enough, man. Yeah. That's on you. That's on you.
I gotta build them up.
You gotta grind a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You gotta find the chili powder, maybe that will get you climbing even faster. Who knows? I don't know. But
it's so hard to find the powder. Where is it?
Find yourself a horse and just wander across the land. That's all you gotta do.
Have to do that. I might give it a second chance. The second one's coming out. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of the list of that's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Man, I'm very excited. Excited.
There's a lot of good stuff coming.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
Did they mention that? There's always it's always in the back.
Yeah.
I think they're busy with another Mario thing going on first.
Oh, are they? I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know, something about with the silver screen, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
You know, it's funny you mentioned Toxic Avenger real quick on NES, because whenever I go to Game On, it is a recurring joke where they have Toxic Avenger on NES, and I'm always like, oh, I want to get this. And they're just like, no, it's you know. I mean, we'll sell it to you, but it's just the game. It's like it's almost like, are you collecting the NES library just for completion? I'm like, no. I just want it because I want it. They're like, you're good.
This also shows you how much money Larry wastes when the store he goes to that profits off of him tells him to not buy something.
And he's still there though. He's still there. Should I
end up buying something else that's probably a lot more money anyway.
He's like a 7-year-old when you tell them, no ice cream for dinner. That's all they're gonna want.
Hell yeah.
There are
gonna have it in the back of his
no Toxic Avenger. No Toxic Avenger for you.
Aerial Assault on Sega CD, man. I keep buying it. It's a pretty penny, but man, I keep buying it. All right, cool. So NES and growing up, basically, what systems did you have again? What?
I had the Super Nintendo. I was always a Super Nintendo guy, even though I did, once Mortal Kombat 1 came out, right, which was the big breaker, and I went to my friend's house, and he's like, "Yo, man, guess what I have?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Mortal Kombat with blood." And and I'm like, I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I have it, no blood," right? And then he puts in the code, and I'm, and I'm seeing. I mean, that was, to me, I was jealous. I was jealous on that and that in that moment, But I'm a Super Nintendo head, man. I love Super Nintendo.
Cool.
I had TurboGrafx 16.
So you're the one. Everyone grew up with one person who had a TurboGrafx, and you were that one. So there you go.
I loved it.
Did you have Splatterhouse?
No.
Oh.
No. I still have it. Ninja Scroll. I have Ninja Scroll. Nice. Box Adventures 2, which was those were the go-to games for me.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Dungeon Explorer.
Yeah, I know that.
That was really good. I for the time, it was really good. Volleyball. I loved the volleyball game.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Volleyball, I think it was called. Unbelievable for TurboGrafx.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think
that's about volleyball.
No, yeah, volleyball games... I'm not a volleyball guy, but once you get the hang of it, it's like addicting. It's like Super Dodgeball.
Yes. I was just about to mention that. I love Super Dodgeball.
Amazing.
Now,
one of the best ever, man.
Volleyball on TurboGrafx. Do they twerk like they did in the NES version? Have you ever seen that?
No.
Go and watch a video of the NES, the original black box game Volleyball. It's actually one of the games on the Switch online, and they just do like this. I'm not getting up to do it. This twerking. I'll do it in my seat. You see me? This twerking motion. Very weird.
Larry, you gotta get up and twerk, Larry.
What?
Twerk.
I can't. Now I gotta censor that.
Felix, he gets it out of you. I'm telling you. Good Lord.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you got it out of your system, because I think I just went partially blind.
Another one that we've been talking to a couple people about. Hidden gem, not hidden gems, but like your Holy Grail, and granted, we're really only doing it with the people that we're doing this type of interview with, because I forgot to talk to the people the whole time. I know yours is Def Jam. Fight for New York.
That's definitely up there, right? for me, up there. Yeah.
Still going.
Nice.
Have you discovered any PS2 games since you've gotten the that PS2 modding thing?
Too many, man. Like I said, Leisure Larry,
yeah.
One of the best ever. That game, I mean, I couldn't believe what we got away with back then.
And did you have it on the computer?
No, I never played the computer versions.
Yeah. I think Anthony did though.
I had it on the computer. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. I died of syphilis a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's just like the Oregon Trail.
Like, you can really that happens in the game.
Yeah. No, you die. Like I think, like if I remember, like one of the first. It wasn't the first one. Lounge Lizards or something. There's a hooker right outside, like the hotel or the bar you're in, and the second you sleep with her, you die.
Oh,
As
I
you
gotta
do in real
see
life.
that. I'm about to YouTube that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. You know what I mean? Like that's
No, they cover everything. They cover everything in that game. And then they uncover everything.
Like the guy game.
I love like the guy game. That's one of the ones that I explored right there.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Goblin Commander. I've been playing that a lot.
You were telling me that I think we talked about that before on PS2.
That game is really good because it's like Command and Conquer, but once you press triangle, you can like zoom in and control the people.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's I love the story of it. You know, it's like very unique. It's all about goblins and different tribes, and I'm starting to get into it. And then Gauntlet, Seven Sorrows.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Amazing. Me and my girlfriend, we just been playing that. Like
Gauntlet games are always fun. I love them.
Amazing.
I mean, they were original quarter munchers. That was the original quarter munching arcade game.
Yeah.
Especially the Legends. The Legends.
But OG Gauntlet. And they even said the creators were like, yeah, we made this where you had to keep feeding quarters. You know, we're here to make money.
I mean, as soon as you open the dungeon door and you see a mini army ready to come through, like literally Drool. I just picture Drool like, you know, the whole time, and they're like, as soon as you open it, you know, it's like Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
It's very Lord of the Rings. And as long as you have quarters, you'll keep surviving.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like how many levels? It's like 300.
There was a lot of them in the original one. There was a lot of them.
The original one, I thought it was 100.
Something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You're there for a long time.
You're there for about $50.
Yeah. You're purchasing the game. Basically.
Exactly.
That's the original microtransaction.
I guess you can see it that way. Yeah. In all honesty, no. Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
So, all right. And then, like, as far as like you said, I think your favorite game of like all time. Which one would you say? I don't know if you mentioned that already.
All time, my favorite game.
All time. Putting you on the spot.
Oh,
once you pick it, you can't change your mind.
Oh.
And it can be Toxic Avengers if you want.
No. It can't.
Or Toxic Crusaders to be exact.
Favorite game all time.
You have to circle around to back.
Oh, that's hard, man. Because
how about this one? Since you're a big wrestling fan, what is your favorite wrestling game?
So I would have to say Here Comes the Pain.
Okay.
But also I might do 2006 because SmackDown
Raw. Mm-hmm.
Because the reason why is because my friend, he gave me a file. He downloaded an export file.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at that time. And I still have the export file. So now that I did that with the PS2, I got to re-download the SmackDown 2006. And it comes with all the like Street Fighter characters, Tekken characters.
All the created characters.
Yeah, all the created Marvel characters. So this was the first time. So, and I love the mechanics of it. Like basically, it's very easy. You know, it's very easy to do stuff and pull off moves and stuff. So I would have to go with SmackDown 2006 probably.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
Yeah, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
We can't be friends.
Why? What's your favorite?
The only answer to that question is No Mercy.
Oh, okay.
You can get away with WrestleMania 2000, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
No Mercy. I'm up there. It's definitely like number 2, but I would have to put. I would have to go.
He's got more personal connection.
Yes.
You know, unlike me and Anthony, when we were growing up, we were playing No Mercy together, and then I'd be winning, and then all of a sudden there goes an N64 controller straight across the front of my face.
Oh wow, Larry and his pipe dream.
What?
Putting the words Larry and winning in the same sentence.
I've won a few championships in that game.
Not against me.
I've won a couple Rumbles.
No, but wait, is this in No Mercy? Just to recap. Is it unlimited use of the weapon?
I don't think there was. It eventually dropped.
It dropped.
They all eventually dropped. Yeah.
Okay,
but
Here Comes the Pain. There was no dropping.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
It
That's
was
right. I
like
forgot
just
about that.
nonstop.
Yeah.
It was just, you know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah, it was the perfect game to be cheap.
yeah.
No,
Like,
No
I'm like-
Mercy was.
I'm like, you get a weapon, it's over. You know,
Because
it's a wrap. Like,
No Mercy had the thing where if you were getting pinned, you just flick the analog stick on the N64 controller.
That was WrestleMania 2000.
Oh, it was 2000. Okay.
Yeah, they fixed that for No Mercy.
You flicked the analog stick and you kicked out 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And you could be 0 energy.
Yep.
And you just
you flick it like
just
this.
flick the analog controller and you just move it. Just move
Yeah,
it.
that's crazy.
So I mean, I never used it. You know, in my
I've
gaming,
never even known that.
I would
was
never
just
have used
pressing the
that.
I was just mashing. You
Uh,
know, hurry up, get
but yeah, no, we definitely. Well, of course, the epic story. You know, me and Ant, the first time we hung out, it was over WWE Raw on Super Nintendo.
That's right. That was the first time we hung out.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Played that awesome game. Then
And
I was
then
walking home and I got mugged on the way home. True story. So
No.
yeah.
Where
And why I
where
kept
were
hanging
you?
out.
Where were you?
I was in my neighborhood basically.
No, but
Well, I
like
was in
here,
between.
like there,
Brooklyn.
like
No, in
In
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. No, in Brooklyn.
Okay.
We grew up like, I
Wow.
don't know, like a mile away from each other probably.
Yeah, we weren't far from each other.
Not
at all.
far at all. So I
Oh,
walked,
that's awesome,
because
man.
back then I was a little healthier. So I was walking, me and a friend of mine, we were walking back, and just all of a sudden, guys, like, these two kids show up. Hey, you got the time? So innocent me with a backpack full of Super Nintendo games, mind you. A backpack full of SNES games. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, sir. It is blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, how much money do you have on you? I was like, what? Wasn't thinking. So I probably had $12 on me or whatever. So I give them the $12. They never even looked in the backpack. Never even looked in the backpack. Thank God. Thank God. But yeah, so that's
Otherwise, we definitely wouldn't have been friends.
No, I would not have never come over to your house again after that point.
Oh my God, man. Well,
But,
karma, hopefully,
Yeah, Karma got them back. They're probably dead now.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh yes, hopefully. Wow, that turned holy. Good Lord. Okay. Well, with that being said,
Game over for that. No, like I said, no mercy.
and there you go. See, bring it around. And then, of course, mention to keep it with the wrestling theme, with all that. The whole reason why I bought a PlayStation 1 was for SmackDown, the first SmackDown game.
The first SmackDown game.
Yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation before that.
I have a crazy story on that for the second one.
Oh,
the
for Know Your Role?
For Know Your Role.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a blizzard. Okay, blizzard going on. There was literally snow piles crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
So I went early in the morning because I knew the game was coming out, and I thought
And to put it in perspective, you grew up in Queens.
Yes, in Queens.
Okay.
In Queens. I'm in Regal Park, Forest Hills.
Okay.
So on 71st Continental, they had the GameStop and they had EB Games.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew somebody personally, working at EB Games. So I said, I'm going to go to EB Games. Maybe I get a better deal. So as I go, I have some of these games that I wanted to trade in. Plus, I thought I had enough money to get the game. The guy says you're like $13 short. It's a blizzard.
Oh, no.
Right? It's a blizzard. Right? So I'm like, I got to go home. Then come back.
You had to walk uphill both ways.
No, I did it. I looked. The guy was. He started laughing when he saw me because I looked like. Open the door! the guy opened the door. Hurry, get the change! And I had to do all that just to get that game, man. And I was willing to do it, and I did it. And that game was unbelievable.
Yes,
that game was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
I'm about to go grab it right over there. I have
it.
Right
maybe,
there.
Well, you know what? Maybe you go play some SmackDown today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
All right, Felix. Thank you very much for being on episode 300.
Yeah,
we needed you on in some way, shape, or form.
We definitely because this is the perfect time for us to meet on an anniversary episode. So
man, this is a pleasure, man. Anthony, thank you so much. Larry, thank you guys so much, man. You guys, like I said, man, I appreciate every time I'm on this platform. I listen to you guys all the time, as the world should. As the world should. If you are a gamer, if you love games, man, it's not just about the game, it's the people. It's the people and how it affects us and how much we love it. You know what I mean? It's not just, video games. It's more of how you can connect through video games. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing, man. I love what you guys are doing.
No, very well said. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
Get it out.
And give us one. Give us one on the way out, Stone Cold.
Y es en la línea para abajo. Porque Stone Cold.
DC.
Nice.
We'll be right back.
All right, so we're back. Some good stuff from some good people.
Yep.
And now we're going to have some stuff from somebody.
You know, I don't need
You
this.
mean we're gonna have some stuff from our next guest?
Yes,
which is
absolutely.
Frank. Frank, thank you for coming back.
Anthony, always professional. Larry, rude.
Yep.
Because I've worked with you longer.
Well, and you've actually been on recently. We did that Commodore episode. Not too
Yeah,
long
I had
ago,
fun with that episode. Welcome. Thank you for having me back, everybody.
Yeah,
always a
Hello,
pleasure.
retro gamers.
Episode 300 here.
Yes, congratulations,
Yes.
300.
Thank you.
Sadly, my podcast didn't make it that
Hour.
far, but well, the hour.
Yeah, I know your podcast is going to fall into retro category soon.
It's probably already is. So
And I think first time you've recorded with Anthony in person.
in person, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So this is historic.
Monumental.
So
Epic.
Yes, totally fun. So we've been talking a lot this episode, really just having good memories, having fun, talking about games that we love, systems that we love. And yes, we did have you on with the Commodore 64. And actually, a lot of people have been picking you as kind of like the Commodore 64 guy.
Oh,
not
God.
not because of knowledge, just because really you're the only person that's ever talked about it. So
Big part of
One
my
of my
childhood.
one of my chop liver.
yeah. Well, we've talked about it.
I mean,
You have
Anthony
one.
had the major unxboxing. You know,
He did. That
of
was pretty
discs.
cool,
I
yeah.
remember
I
that
did.
episode.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new Ghostbusters game coming up, but that's
Yes, I know.
That's for a different podcast.
That's okay.
Yes.
We can talk about that. But with that being said, though, with the games that you've played, Commodore 64, we'll kind of get right into it. And what has been your favorite console to play growing up? Because I know what game it is now, but growing up,
PUBG. Someone play with me tonight, please. My squad has abandoned me.
we really left
You
him.
really
we
left
did
him
all of
high
us
and
left
dry.
him. This
Did
is
you,
done.
did you leave him like mid game?
No, just like
no.
we'll all be on tonight, and I'm sitting there like this.
Bro, because we usually play at like 10 o'clock at night
Larry
Eastern.
falls asleep at 8 because he's an old
I'm
man.
out at like 9 o'clock. I'm zonked.
So then why do you make plans for 10 o'clock?
Because I
That's-
can't do it anymore.
No, it's not
No,
even.
no,
it's
that's
not
just
me.
rude.
No, it's Eric.
It's
has
everyone
kids.
else with kids.
Yeah, so but I'm good to go at 9:30 now because my kids are older. So
Exactly.
but whatever.
I think you have the oldest kids. So yeah.
Yes, so-
they're self-sufficient.
Yes. Sorry. Well, growing up, I guess besides obviously the obvious Commodore 64 was one of my favorites, just because it was the first. Well, technically Atari was the first one we had, but a Commodore 64 really, I mean, it took it to the next level compared to Atari. But again, where most of my friends went their Nintendo route, I went the Sega route.
Sega?
Sega.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've corrected him.
You're always so difficult. But so I still, obviously the Sega Master System, which I thought I had, but it's missing from my basement. And then obviously the Genesis, and I didn't get the Saturn I stopped with the Genesis. My brother-in-law got the Saturn and the CD.
Dreamcast.
I had the Dreamcast. I'm sorry, I had the Dreamcast.
I feel like everyone had a Dreamcast.
Yeah, the Dreamcast actually, I think my wife bought me my first Xbox. Which was
That's cool.
Well, she tricked me to moving into her in Long Island, and all my friends were in Brooklyn. So to make it easier,
I'm sorry. Right? Yeah. No. Off camera is my cat destroying. Well, not my cat. My parents' cat destroying my furniture.
I think it's entertaining.
oh, I can't wait till it destroys your Funko Pop. Not
Yes.
your Booty-O.
You leave that cat
What
alone.
is that?
It's just an error. It's a.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
I've seen it. All right,
rechargeable.
I was gonna buy that, but I saw how much it was on Amazon, and I'm cheap.
See?
Larry does that to me, and I'm.
That's how he gets you with lies.
Yes.
I have to sleep with this now.
All right.
Because at 3 o'clock
I
in the
don't want to
morning.
know anymore.
No, at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's going nuts.
Stop right there.
And
Stop
I'm
right
just
there.
like,
Stop right there. Stop.
I just got
Stop. Stop. Back to the Commodore.
Yeah. So again,
That was a real moment.
Most of my friends went the Nintendo route. I went the Sega route. So I grew up mostly with that, and spent many lonely college nights going to Blockbuster. For those of you who don't remember, you'd actually have to go rent a video game. So
Unless you're in. Where's the last one? Somewhere in
Oregon?
Oregon,
like
yeah.
Buck, Oregon, or something
Oregon
like
has
that.
the last
yeah.
Blockbuster.
And it still exists.
Yeah. In fact, they're doing a TV show now.
And you can actually pay to do a sleepover at the Blockbuster. They have a whole setup.
I did
where
not
you
know
can do an
about that.
overnight.
I mean,
Yep.
let's be honest. There
do an overnight stay.
was really something, and to go, sorry, a little off topic like I normally do, but there was really something to going to a Blockbuster
Yep.
and
waiting to see, nothing behind that box, and then getting the snacks and everything. And fun fact, in high school, my buddy ran a independent video
mom
store.
And pop store?
Yeah, mom and pop store. Video. It was actually Videos R Us, but Toys R Us got involved, and they had a
giraffe showed up.
They had to add an L and cut the R, so it was Videos Plus.
Nice.
But we would close up his he didn't own it. He worked there, but we'd close up his video store at night and go to Blockbuster. So that's how
because they had the good stuff.
Because they had the new movies. Yes. So there's really something to say about that experience.
It's like going to Big Choice Video.
Kids will never know that now, and it's kind of disappointing. But
we can hold on. We can circle that into this because let's face facts. A lot of times we didn't own games; we rented games.
Yes,
right.
And that's something we never really talked about.
No, it's true because we were kids and we didn't have the money to just run out and buy a game. So if your parents weren't buying it for you, you were renting it.
Right.
I remember.
And damn the late charges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, honestly.
And by the time you're done with the late charges, your parents could have bought you the game.
Exactly.
Like I know this is on the spot.
I rented GoldenEye and ended it. So
and it's on the spot. Forgive me, but what game do you think you probably rented the most?
Oh,
GoldenEye.
For real, for Nintendo 64?
I would rent GoldenEye. I distinctly remember sitting there one night because the 7-Eleven was right next to the Blockbuster, so I would pull out of the Blockbuster parking lot and pull right into the 7-Eleven. I'd get my nachos and a Slurpee, and I would sit there just playing GoldenEye.
See, what's funny is and that's fine because Blockbuster was good. My memory is just from a mom and pop store on I think like off of Nostrand or something like that. I forgot. Now we're going local. Sorry, but it was a mom and pop store we used to go, and I used to all the time. I would rent. For Donkey Kong Classic, because I thought it was awesome that Donkey Kong Jr. were on the same cart, which actually that's why I love that I own a copy of it. All the time I would rent that game.
Interesting.
It was weird, yeah.
I'm trying to remember a game that I really rented a lot, and I'm having a hard time. I used to rent the Mega Man games a lot.
Okay.
Because the only one I ever owned was 2. I never had the other ones. So I think that's probably the ones I spent the most money on because they were hard to beat. If you didn't know the order you had to go in, they were really hard to beat. So
and Blockbuster, I don't remember. We didn't go to Blockbuster that much. I remember the first time I went to a Blockbuster and I picked up a movie and I went to I didn't realize that the movies were behind the movie case.
Oh, yes.
So I picked up what I thought was the rent, and I go to the case. They're like, we don't have this. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's right here. How can you not have this movie? And then that's how I learned how they did it.
Movie.
No, I didn't know. It was the first time I was in Blockbuster.
with the mom and
Stupid
pop,
Avenue U.
Yeah. See, I had Avenue R Video around the corner, and then
the one you worked in.
That was
that was
the one I eventually worked in for a little while. But then there was also Royal Video.
Yes.
That was on Avenue U.
That became Coil
Video.
Yep. And then across the street, which we were just talking about,
was
Captain Video.
Captain Video, which the sign is still up.
Video.
It's still there.
The sign is still there. This place shut
down.
This place shut down easily 25 years ago.
25 years ago, but the sign is still up.
Sign is still
we
there.
had Video Vision. That was the first
one.
Video
Vision. Why does that
East
sound familiar?
27th Street, again, going local in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. Avenue Z and East 27th Street, right where Frankie, my cousin, former guest,
that's right,
lived. And I remember my number was J7. That was my membership number.
What? Was there across the street from like a
meat market?
That's probably the one I went to.
M&M Meat Market.
That's that's the one I was just talking about.
Yeah.
We were
Vision.
I think we were like M365 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, James.
No, that's my license.
No. You had your license.
Yeah, no,
that's 365.
No, yeah, you're right.
Genius.
No. No, but it was very close to it because they did it on index cards.
It's okay, Larry.
Right, index cards.
Yeah, that's the same place. That's amazing.
And they had of course, they had the saloon doors, which was the adult section. Oh, funny story.
Which was always next. The wrestling movies, the wrestling videos were always right next to the
adult section.
Yeah, that kid's been reading that wrestling. The back of that.
And there was a slot machine back there too.
Funny story, true story. The first time I took my stepdad to Blockbuster, I never went with him again because he asked the little girl behind the counter. He was like, "Where's the adult section?" And I'm like, mortified. I'm like, I just walked away.
Hey, sweetheart, where's the Stag Films?
We don't have one of those, you pervert.
It's like a red, or it's like a red
video store is this,
or like a red
family
cage
store.
Oh my God, I forgot. I can't believe that was the same store we went to. Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
They'd have great names, like obviously Royal Coil. Then there was Video on the Bay, which was on Sheepshead Bay Road,
which made sense.
Which I rented the movie Convoy with Chris Christopherson and.
Was it a great big convoy?
And then I rented it again a year later, and the guy goes, "You're the only one who rents this." He goes, take it home. I go, really? He goes, I still have it. I still have it on VHS.
We were talking about Captain Video closed like 25 years ago. I accidentally returned my parents' wedding video because it was supposed to be Back to the Future 2. I remember like a year later, I'm like, when did we get Back to the Future Part 2? And then it's also like, where's the wedding video?
Oh,
so it's still in that building somewhere.
Or somebody rented.
Or someone rented it and thought,
I'd
this is
rather
a
put
weird.
This is
Marty did go back and save his parents.
That's right.
This is
Look,
the
here's
wedding.
So, what were we talking about? Holy
George
cow.
filled out.
Oh, that was fun.
Consoles. We were talking
consoles.
Consoles.
Back to video
Well,
games. We were talking about
Blockbuster.
rentals, yeah.
No, and Blockbuster, you were able to rent the Virtual Boy.
Oh, that's why they went out of business.
Oh, stop it.
Damn, that was right in there.
You would think after 300 episodes.
No, it's never gonna die.
Never.
But
Unlike the Virtual Boy, that is a door now.
Yeah. So as
Like
far as
Jacob
other
Marley.
games, I honestly can't remember. You know what? One thing I did like about renting games was if there was a game I liked, but I didn't know if I should purchase it.
Well, that was the whole idea behind it.
It was like I remember. I think it was Echo the Dolphin, which I played for about, I don't know, a minute and a half, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this game. I'm like, and I returned it that night.
I had that game. I owned that game, and I never got anywhere in it because it's like you're swimming around. Oh, this is cool. I'm swimming around with a dolphin. Wait, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, there was.
And there was a stupid
where do I get a gun?
There was a stupid whale that would tell you can't get past him without doing something, and you couldn't figure out what to do.
Let me tell you,
because you're a dolphin.
I ended up having a copy of it because I think I got it at a yard sale or something, and I played it, and I got to this one board, and it was only not far into the game. It was maybe 3 or 4 levels into the game. It was impossible to pass. There was like you had to jump over this wall that your dolphin was just not good enough.
Oh, you had to gain speed.
No, you had to gain speed from another house.
Yeah.
You had to like go from someone else's television into yours.
Yes.
It was impossible. I that, and I think Afterburner, which I ended up returning to Toys R Us the day I bought it because I ended it. Hello, Cat.
That's kind of how I felt about Top Gun. When you would play Top Gun, because I would love playing that game until you had to refuel.
My dad was the only one who nailed it every time.
And the refuel, I swear, it doesn't matter how lined up you
It
were,
was
you
impossible.
missed anyway.
It was impossible.
You missed
My dad was the only one that did it every time. I remember
At Pixar,
that.
it didn't happen.
No.
I'm not going to question Butch, but
So
this cat is like, oh, look at all the wires.
What? Yes, I'm watching my parents' cat here, and he wants to destroy everything.
Trouble.
Like
I'm
favorite
so glad
game.
you don't have children.
Me too. Favorite game. I know you were talking about with consoles. Like, is there a game
on Commodore or
anything? No, at this point.
Yeah, if there's a game that stands out from you, what's the game that stands out the most?
Oh God. Well, obviously,
aside Space Taxi.
Space Taxi was always great. I love Space Taxi. Well, not per se a favorite game, but there was a game that I briefly spoke about. And I couldn't remember the name of in the last episode about Commodore. It was a Street Sports.
Sport Street.
Sport Street.
Street Sport.
I have it here. Hold on. I'm sorry. But it was
Street.
Street Sports Baseball, and they had basketball as well, which the concept was you picked your squad, you picked your team from a bunch of kids literally hanging out on a porch, stoop as we called it in Brooklyn. And and then in my mind, from remembering the game, I thought of the Maniac Mansion graphics.
I love those graphics.
But if you eventually watch the YouTube video, you could just YouTube it and it'll be there. It's not, but each kid had a personality. There was the tall black kid with the sunglasses. There was the one kid who looked like the Spanky character from the movie with his hat backwards, And then there was the girl who was the tomboy. And you basically played in somebody's backyard. But the whole point of the game was there were obstacles in the yard because you're playing in not on a field, a sand lot, and there's a log. You have to avoid the log when you're trying to catch the ball, or there's a puddle that you could fall into.
I wonder if those games are going to be in the Atari 50th anniversary.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a cat.
Just a cat.
There's just a tail coming up out of it. What the hell?
No, it could be. Is the 50th anniversary collection out? I think
it's coming out in like a week.
It's coming out in a week. Yeah, I definitely want
2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I definitely want to grab that.
Yes. So, all right, cool.
But that's really cool.
With having older children, do you find yourself if you see your kids? I don't know if your kids do play games.
My son is a gamer.
Do you try and do you try and show him maybe some of the older stuff or anything like that?
Well, do you
even have older?
Yes, I do. Yeah, no, he plays. I have the Genesis hookup, so he plays a lot of Sonic sometimes. But he doesn't really. It's funny. He's really because I'm not really into that but he plays Minecraft and Roblox, and which is all like that 8-bit
style,
nonsense to me.
Irony.
But yeah, exactly. But he actually has been playing. He's very big into racing games.
Okay.
So like I have Forza and the Crew for my PlayStation 4 and an Xbox. So he plays those. And he goes, "I just bought a Koenigsegg," and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I know it's a car, but like he can spot these cars. Like he's very good at it. So,
when are you gonna start playing GTA with him?
Not just yet. Well, if GTA 6 ever comes out, I'll be in an old age home by the time that happens. So, hopefully, maybe I'll get it from him for a wedding gift. He's 10. That
He'll be on Oculus.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, he has an Oculus. He has an Oculus.
There you go.
But which I played once, and I think I got vertigo. I was like, I'm falling into an abyss.
Swinging, knocking out the TV.
I do that without VR.
Here's why I didn't want him to get the Oculus, because I've been trying unsuccessfully for years to get off of Facebook, and I knew that I had to hook my Facebook up to the Oculus, and I didn't want to give Zuckerberg my credit card information. So I'm like, we're only going to do this with gift cards, and apparently you can't. Gift cards are very impossible to go. So I said to my wife, I go, you know what? You handle all this. I can't be bothered, because I can't be. And he's like, he's got like 3 games, and I'm like, I'm never buying him another game because I can't be bothered with Zuckerberg. So my wife deals with it. I don't know. He played Vacation Simulator or something.
Of course.
I've never played it.
What about Power Washer Simulator they have?
Yeah, have you seen Power Washer Simulator? Looks awesome.
No, he watches power washing videos on YouTube and car detailing.
Then you definitely need to buy him Power Wash Simulator.
Or
I will.
The new one coming out, Delivery Simulator.
Yep.
So you play basically
you're
I guess a post office delivery man.
That's my
so
own
he could be
personal
just
hell.
like play just like Daddy.
Yeah.
No, I told both my kids, if you either work for the post office or marry someone that works for the post office, you're out of the will. You get nothing. You're on your own.
Good day, sir. I say good day.
Yeah, until they put you in a home and stick you with delivery.
Well,
for
the
rest of your days.
I would joke around that my wife's gonna have like a golden chalice and a throne, and I'm gonna be in a state-run facility being manhandled by foreign orderlies.
Just be
Don't
happy.
worry, Larry will be there with you.
No, I won't. They'll find me 2 weeks after in this apartment with the virtual boy.
Yeah, with a virtual boy on your face and buried in controllers.
I think the funniest thing,
because you buy 1,000 controllers.
I thought I was going to have people over.
I think the funniest thing I ever said was, I said, you know, me and Verdi are going to have to clean this apartment out when you're dead. And he's like, why am I dead? I go, come on. But we joke.
You get some good money.
But good money for what?
This is some good money.
The first thing I do is shred the booty up.
Okay, so we've strayed away from the
yes,
video games
yes,
a little
yes.
bit.
Sorry, this is what happened. But
I like to bring us back to center.
Okay, so
it's called content, and we needed it.
I don't know how far you guys go to consoles. Is Dreamcast considered?
No, Dreamcast is good.
Okay.
No, Dreamcast
so
$9.99.
Was it Ready to Rumble?
Ready to
Yes,
Rumble
Rainbow
was awesome.
Boxing.
I loved that game. That game was, and the only reason I got it because I visited a friend of mine who lived in California, and she had
That wasn't me.
She had the That wasn't you. She
I
had the
never went out to California
Dreamcast.
and visited him. That's messed up.
I didn't know him then.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So
He
Yeah,
wasn't
you
in
did. I
California.
didn't live in California then. We were like roommates
yeah,
when the
we were.
Dreamcast came out.
Exactly.
Probably 99.
So
Not too
yeah,
far from there.
I went to visit her in '99, and she had Ready to Rumble, and apparently she would destroy her fiance in this game, and I destroyed her. First time playing, I literally played like 4 matches, and then I knocked her out in the game, obviously. No.
And then in real life by
It was
accident.
Pedro Guerrero. Linga-longa. So then I went home and immediately bought Dreamcast. I bought that and Crazy Taxi.
It was having an arcade.
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy
Taxi.
Well, that's the second game I got. So I got introduced to it by Ready to Rumble, and then Crazy Taxi I played religiously. But again, that got to a point where you just couldn't. There was a hump you couldn't get over in that game. You know, and I don't know. And I did everything like you had to do like this power boost to make the, and you would fly over because sometimes it was like San Francisco or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you pretty much had to have a flawless run to get to the next pickup, and it was impossible because you'd always hit the AI. You would always hit a car just making a left in front of you, and you know it got to that one point where you gave up. And there was one other game. Was it on Dreamcast? It was the Homer Simpson version of Crazy
Simpsons
Taxi.
Hit and Run.
Hit and Run. No, well, Crazy Taxi would be not Hit and Run. What was the other one?
Was it Hit and Run?
No, there was Hit and Run, and there was, dang it. If only we had someone who probably wasn't at the table right now with a phone that could look up what game it was.
Yeah, that's very true.
Simpsons. Road Rage.
Road Rage.
Road Rage.
Was it Road
Useless. Road Rage.
Well, we
yes.
knew you'd get the answer. So.
Oh no, maybe Hit and Run was the Crazy Taxi version.
I thought it was.
Then Road Rage. Oh yeah, Road Rage GT. Anyway.
Yeah. So
No,
anyway,
it wasn't Road Rage.
we're gonna step back for a moment because
Don't
I just want to point out.
If I touched your phone, you'd be pissed
I just
off.
want to point out that I was correct.
Well, we're about to find out here in a second.
As I normally
anyway,
am.
Ignore me.
So the Simpsons game. No, did that come out on Dreamcast? I don't think so.
Hit and Run. I thought
Either
they
of
did.
them.
I thought they both did.
I don't remember if they did on Dreamcast.
Road Rage. Road Rage was the taxi one.
Okay, so like
Alright.
I said, yeah, Road Rage.
All right, there we go.
Was that on Xbox or was that?
That was definitely on
I
Xbox.
think that was
yes.
Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember playing that in my apartment with in mine and Stephanie's
Xbox.
apartment, and she bought me the Xbox, which
Nice.
I actually could blame her for my new addiction to video games because all I had was the Dreamcast when I met her. Everything
that
else
thing died out pretty quickly.
Everything else was in storage. You know, it was packed away, and then you know what I think I realized? I think I did lose my original Sega Master System to Sandy. I lost
That
a
makes
lot in
sense.
my mother's
That makes
basement.
sense. Yeah.
So
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
All my
No.
video game stuff
I
gone in
just
Sandy.
I just saw something. I think it's 10-year anniversary right now.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yesterday was
Yes.
10-year
Yes,
it was
anniversary.
10-year.
So
Wait, no, it wasn't 2012. We're in 2022. That's right. I'm sorry. Cheesecake. So all right, yeah.
Blame the cheesecake.
That's my
It's
nickname.
10-year cheesecake. Sorry.
Yeah, I lost
Larry's
all.
new nickname.
I lost all. I don't like. You don't even like cheesecake.
Moving on from episode 300 now.
But,
I'm just gonna call you cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
I'm gonna just change the handle now.
So those games. What about you? I've spoken. What are some of your
Yeah, we haven't really
your
mentioned
favorite
anything yet, so-
console games?
Yeah,
or-
we haven't talked about it. Mine's kind of obvious, I think, because NES was always going to be my favorite because of the Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda has always been my favorite game. I've talked about it 1,000 times on this. And then every system that came out after that, the Zelda game's always been the highlight for me.
Yeah.
This is where I get thrown out of I've never played Zelda.
Wow.
Any of them?
Ever.
Any of them?
Ever.
That's
And
crazy.
Go grab my Game and Watch, and we'll get him to play some Zelda.
I have to. I see. You know me. I have OCD. I have to start at the beginning. So I'd have to.
No, that's fine, 'cause the first game's
the
awesome.
Okay, well,
The most recent one is terrible.
Do you want to play it from the first game made, or do you want to go
Oh,
chronologically in the story? Which way do you go?
well, that's
I think the
that's
hamster
tough.
just fell off the wheel.
that's a dilemma because
It is.
that was I don't know.
And not only that, the
it's getting hot in here.
the story timeline has diverging paths depending on which way.
I
you
guess
go.
if
So
that's
it
the
goes
case,
all over
then
the place.
that's the case. Then I would go
Chronological?
by date release.
that's what I meant, like,
date
yeah.
released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the first game's fantastic.
Well, I guess I'll have
The
to
most
play it.
recent outing,
The most recent
not
game
so much.
actually was it's one of the best games ever.
Well, my
made
son
as-
has the Switch. Is that the most recent one?
yeah,
Or-
Breath of the Wild.
Okay, which I heard was good.
Breath of the Wild got like top marks from every single reviewer. It's
I mean,
considered one of the best games ever made.
If your son enjoys Power Washer Simulator and Car Detailer Simulator, then he'll love Life Simulator. Called Breath of the Wild.
No. Here's how you know Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made. Larry didn't like it.
Oh well, then it's got to be great.
I shouldn't
go.
have to cook in the game. I should just be able to find a heart and just keep going. My stuff should not break. I should not have to worry about finding chili.
See, this is why I loved. Do you remember the Elder Scrolls?
Yes.
I not
The
realizing the detail and I forgot what the term is, but when the AI recognizes you from the past, like for instance, in that game, I didn't realize when you were fighting, if you weren't wearing something to protect your face, you could get a scar. And then you become
And it stays that
unattractive to. So you'd walk into a town instead of being this, hero. You look like a villain because your face is all scarred up, and people would run from you instead of. I forgot what it's like. I guess it's a recognition that the AI remembered you from things like you said you did previously. But also in that game you had to. I thought China. I
thought the nuke was here.
I thought we attacked. Please. I listen. I just got my Patriot Supply, so I'm good. So, not a sponsor, but you had to get married in that game. But I couldn't get married, and I got so far into the game, and I couldn't get married.
If I'm having trouble in real life,
because I was scarred.
You were
No,
scarred.
like you had to buy a house. You had to buy a house, like, which obviously became a save point. But and then I'm like, I'm not starting this game over again, and I still own it. And I'm like, every time I see it, I should start it over again. But it's probably, and then I'm like, do I get the new one?
You're just an old maid. That's all.
I don't want to be an old maid. I want to have a fair maiden.
You're a spinster.
I wanted to have a fair maiden.
You're a spinster.
But the
Get
problem is,
some
I
cats.
couldn't get any information out of anybody in town. It pissed me off. So, but those games I love. Like obviously realistic. I'm big into physics, like games that have a car game, it has damage. I love that. You know,
then you would love Breath of the Wild.
Okay, then I think
There's
I might
no
have to
cars in
start
Breath
that.
of the Wild.
Well, I'm not. I like the
you
realistic.
Get horses.
Yeah, I guess.
You ride different horses, and then you can eventually get the master cycle.
Yeah. All
you
right.
get a motorcycle.
Oh, do you?
The master cycle.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wouldn't know because I never played it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I played it, but
well, I'm gonna start. I think anyway. I'm gonna probably. I'm sure I could find it on my Xbox.
Probably.
I could probably download it or something.
Probably, but we digest.
Then I have to pay for it
anyway.
So, but yeah, Zelda is definitely your.
Zelda's
your
mine.
That's
Mario
always
is
known,
clearly yours.
Well, I mean, no, not really, because my favorite game is Contra. So
your favorite game is Contra.
Well, and
yeah.
I thought your favorite game was Pac-Man.
That's my favorite arcade game.
Console.
But my favorite game is no, because I don't really play Miss Pac-Man a lot on the console. I had it because I never had an arcade.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was I saying? Contra
Contra's
is
his favorite game because it's the only one he beat.
You could probably use
it's not the only one. Not the only one. It's the first one I beat.
Out of 5.
But you know, Contra, I just have some great memories of playing, and it's just such a fun, platformer, but shooter. And the sequels have just been phenomenal. Up until you get to like PS2, it gets a little wonky, but they're just good classic games, and I've always been a fan of them. And of course, again, being the first game I've ever beat. Look, code aside, for the 30 lives, it was still a game that I beat, and I just remember that night vividly. Just being excited, getting overwhelmed almost, because I was young when it happened, and so that'll always stick with me. And like when the Contra Collection came out on the systems, I was stoked about it, because you play a lot of these games. The arcade games, it's funny enough, the arcade games I'm not that crazy about of their, like Contra and Super Contra. But again, I'm just used to the NES versions, and one day, hopefully, I'll beat the Super Nintendo. That one I've never beaten. I think I'm good with the 2 NESs. I'm pretty sure I beat the Game Boy. Yeah, I beat the Game Boy version. So now up next, I gotta play Contra 3. So hopefully one day I'll get to that. And Contra was actually one of the games that kind of got me to get a Genesis.
Oh,
it was when Contra Hardcore came out.
Hardcore.
I didn't have the Genesis, and finally was like, you know what, maybe it's time to get one.
Yeah.
And it was Hardcore. Probably Sonic had something to do with it, but not really, because I waited for that. And I still, to this day, have no idea how I got Shining Force, because I wasn't into role-playing games.
Yeah, I know. And Shining Force, I know, that's one of my favorite.
That's my
RPGs.
favorite RPG of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic RPG.
Shining Force, I remember.
Yeah, but you needed a Genesis for that one.
I did. I think that's the one I think I had. I remember. It was, I guess, their version of Zelda.
Well, it was like it was a tactic.
It was
version.
turn-based
like,
RPG.
You move, I
fun.
move.
Right.
You move, I move.
I just almost
like chess.
I remember a
like Final Fantasy Tactics,
yes,
which is based off of
right. That's what I meant. Final
Force.
Fantasy. Right. I remember a role playing game for Genesis. I don't remember the name. I have to go through all my Genesis games, but they're all boxed up. But I just remember because my brother-in-law and I would play it together. Like one of us would control. We would use both of our minds to figure it out. But I just remember the main character's name was Roland, and when you got hungry, it was Roland ate an apple, and we would always anytime one of us had an apple, it was he's like, hey, Roland, eating an apple? Like, it was just a stupid joke we had. I'm like, it got old fast, but
I don't know what that
it
is.
sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar.
But I cannot remember the name of it.
But I hear Roland, I think of the Dark Tower, so.
Yes, that too. But it's funny, when you mentioned Genesis, you unlocked something in my head as Shinobi.
That's dangerous.
Remember Shinobi?
Shinobi ruled.
Shinobi ruled, and then they came out with like a second
Shadow Dancer.
And it was horrible.
With the dog.
Yep.
Yeah, it was terrible. Shadow
Dancer is a sequel to Shinobi.
Okay, I don't remember that one. I just that might have been why I don't remember, because I probably
and it had a dog that would be like your ally.
Right. Yeah.
Who could not be killed.
But now it's funny because now I love Genesis, but like I'm trying to think of all I have them all. I gotta. Altered Beast was another game I loved.
Oh, Altered Beast was great.
That was the one when you turned into the Lizzie, right? Lizzie was the lizard.
Wow,
and
no.
Now
you're going into Rampage.
Rampage. Oh, Altered Beast I remember too, but I remember Altered Beast.
Altered Beast was power.
Yes. But no, I'm thinking of Rampage, which was kind of like to me, almost like not not crazy climber, but it was, you know, yeah, obviously I had to climb the buildings and punch them out, but that game I played so many times, and then I did the video game come out first. It was an actual arcade.
It was an
game.
arcade.
Oh, no, it was an arcade
It was
game.
an arcade
Yeah.
first, and then the video game.
Yeah, but I remember
And then the movie.
And then the movie. Yes.
Yeah, I remember I remember the console game being pretty damn good compared to the arcade. It was actually a good.
It was probably, I mean, short of like an Asteroids that you really can't screw up too much.
Yep.
I would say
a Pac-Man.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Too much. Rampage on like Atari 2600. Yes, blocky. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's not gonna. But it looked like
Atari
Rampage.
2600?
It was on Atari 2600.
Oh, I didn't
and
know that.
it looked like Rampage.
Yeah, it was actually very surprising how much they were able to do on the 2600 with that game.
Yep.
Considering you see other ports on that, and they're
Pac-Man.
just garbage. Yeah, garbage.
Yeah,
It's funny though. The Atari. No one really talks about the Atari too much, which is sad. Hopefully, more talk. We'll talk about it with the new 50th anniversary.
I can very easily talk about how much I loved Berserk and Missile Command.
Yeah, well, Missile Command is terrible.
Missile Command is amazing.
Berserk is really good though.
Now, I think we spoke about this once. There was a game called Laser Blast.
Yes,
and
I have Laser
and
Blast.
Channel 11 had a thing where WPIX in New York, where you took a picture of your high score and sent it to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got like a PIX T-shirt or something, and I remember my brother, like whatever the record was, he broke it. Like he broke the person, and we're recording. What's his cat's name?
Samson.
Samson doesn't care that we're recording. Samson
So rude.
He's gonna get. He actually wants to get. Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
So my brother was on the verge. He was on the verge of beating
When you
it.
move that.
And I got pissed at him, and I hit the reset button, and I got the S kicked out of me.
Just
For good
moving it up so he can get out. That's all. Because he's stupid. There we go.
You're stupid. Great stupid cat.
Yeah. So there he goes. Yeah. So all right. Well, I mean,
cats are so weird. I'm a dog guy.
With that being said, though, So really, the bottom line of all this. Frank talking earlier, we had Rich, we had Jack, we had Felix, we had Charles, we had Josh, Mario. Bottom line, there's really nothing better. You know, the old games are still classic games.
Oh yeah.
And there's really nothing nowadays can really make you feel like you're playing something special, you know, like you have back then. And I think we can all agree that just classic gaming really will never go away.
Yeah, I agree. But I think more importantly, I think the reason why guys in our age bracket, I know I'm older than you guys, but the reason why we like it so much is because now, as we see in the games we play, so many people have hacks and cheats and strike packs and Cronus, and none of that stuff existed back then. Yeah, granted, you had your
Game Genie.
A, B, 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 C, D, up, down, left, right.
Yeah, code once in a while.
But for the most part, like, I've never used those, and it's kind of there was that innocence, and I think that's why so many people. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, there's a generation. We're going to be the first generation of grandparents that play video games.
100%.
You know, and like, I'm going into nursing home, and my systems are coming with me. If they have bad Wi-Fi, I'm finding a new home. So
my parents back in the day, you know, when they were our age, my parents had nothing to do with gaming or anything like that. Yeah, my dad would play, again, like he would play Dr. Mario, and as I said, I felt like that was him coping with his PTSD from Vietnam because they did the Tetris test, which is true PTSD, so he just didn't know it. But for the most part, he wasn't doing anything like this. So we are definitely the first of a breed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And again, I think that our love for those games was because it was like, I was just playing Miss Pac-Man before, and I said, "Can I pause this?" And I'm like, "No, you can't, because
you just play.
You just play, right?" And like, you know, our kid, I know you guys don't have kids, but my kids, they don't not know the thought of, you know, putting your quarter up there. I got next.
Oh,
you know,
honestly,
like,
right?
Like that was, and then God forbid the quarter went down underneath the plastic. It was like, it was like this.
That was the end of the world.
That was, you know, it's like, you know, rip it off, you know. And I think that's why my Arkanoid has a crack in it. I think someone lost the quarter.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just a different time.
Wow.
This is my show now, okay? I'm your guest.
My show, mine.
God, rude.
But in all honesty,
Where are my blue M&Ms?
You would have ordered them
You
too.
didn't read the writer.
No, we didn't read the writer.
Whatever.
But Frank, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey,
for
listen,
episode 300.
I thank you very much for having me. I love this show.
I'm trying to do the Michael J. Fox hug.
No, don't touch me.
That's just rude.
Well, no, it was that was very touching. That his embrace with Christopher Lloyd. It was moving.
The best embrace he ever had was when Tom Hanks punched him.
This is true.
Come on, Ned.
But anyway, we're jumping.
I know I got the Michael Gross beard.
We're jumping into something else there.
I would beat the crap out of Tom Hanks in that episode. But no, thanks for having me, guys. Yes. I appreciate it. Congratulations on 300 episodes.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to 400 and 500. And, just you guys you really do an amazing job. So I know I don't say it at all.
True.
Often.
But I appreciate you saying it on the first episode you're sharing with me in person.
This is great. I'm so excited.
Must be the reason.
We were roommates, and we had. I mean, we could talk about what's the name? What's the game? Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Dark Alliance.
Never
Dark
again.
Alliance.
Never
Dark
again.
Alliance.
We'll never talk about that game ever again. I'm putting that in my past.
And on another podcast, we should talk about 24. That was one of the best things ever.
Yes. Hey, someday that might be a very special episode. So
it might be.
Enough time passes. So.
Oh man! All right. Well, with that, we're gonna wrap it up. First of all, thank everyone who was on the show this week, as we mentioned before. So we appreciate all of you, everyone listening at home, watching at home, and live. And where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram @RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter @RetroGamersPod, if Twitter is still there. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can watch us on YouTube, or email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
And with that,
he actually remembers all the stuff.
He says it every week.
I had to write it down.
You did have to write it down.
I couldn't remember.
We did it every other week.
I know, but
I say it in the same order.
He does. In the same cadence. With the same cadence.
You want to do a podcast together?
I think we should. I think we should.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Chill out, Cheesecake.
We'll discuss it off the air.
And with that, folks, we'll catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.